following is a special presentation of ESPN on ABC.
The sun may be going down, but on this night, the temperature is rising inside Richmond International Raceway. For 14 drivers, this is it. This is the race to the chase. It's time to go all in.
This is it. One last race to go all in.
A lot on the line tonight.
These drivers either play their hand or lose their chance at a championship. Lady Luck is watching, beckoning the final round. A hand that will define the 2011 season, sending you straight into the chase or to the back of the pack.
Nobody willing to give an inch.
We'll see if the elites rise to the top.
Working a bad hand into a winner takes focus and nerve.
We're going to run this bad. It really doesn't matter whether we make the chase or not.
And before you know it, you're on a roll.
Tony Stewart putting on a clinic for the rest of the drivers here.
The stakes are high. You better be sure you know why you're playing at this table.
Junior again trying to hunt his way. Junior Nation is on its feet.
Early in the game, wins can come easy.
Jimmy Hamlin scores his first win of the year.
But if you've got nothing to play for, you may as well pack it up and go home.
So frustrating. We're done.
All the long shots are still in the game. Their chips may be down, but their hopes are high.
Right now, it's down to just plain hard-nosed racing.
Who will fold? Who will let it ride? And who will walk away with Lady Luck right by their side? Richmond, NASCAR, the chase. It's time to deal.
This is where everybody earns their money.
And it will all unfold tonight from Richmond International Raceway, 400 miles to determine who's in and who is out. Jeff Gordon doesn't need Lady Luck tonight. No matter what happens, he's in. Tonight, he's racing for bonus points and a better seed come Chicago. So is Jimmy Johnson. For the first time all season, the 5-time champ is the points leader heading into a race. And tonight, he says his car is bad. Bad fast, that is. Dale Earnhardt Jr. cannot afford a bad night. He's got a 25-point cushion over 11th place, but he's starting tonight in a bit of a hole. He starts 27th. There is also Tony Stewart. He's 10th in points, but here we are at another short track. Stewart has finished 16th or worse in 8 of the last 9 short track races, and tonight, Stewart is on the bubble.
Not bad at all. It's very, very drivable. Here comes the move.
Tony Stewart is putting on a clinic.
Good where I need to be. It's going to be hard for me to drive off of this.
In the wall, hard wreck. Stewart almost lost it.
Awesome job, bud.
And there's no doubt all eyes will be on Tony Stewart tonight as he attempts to make the chase for the 7th time, Tony. So based on lap tracker and how your car was handling in practice yesterday, how good are your chances at making this?
I think pretty good. I think we have a car that's a top 10 race car for sure. So we just got to be patient at the beginning of this thing and, get ourselves in the top 10 there. And once we get there, I think we're going to be in good shape. But we'll race the race just like we would any other race. We're going to race this thing to win it tonight.
All right, he's going to roll off 22nd. Another guy who has to race his way into the chase is Dale Earnhardt Jr.
The Junior Nation is on its feet. Good work, buddy. Good work. It was a great lap. All over the back bumper of Kyle Busch. Junior gets the lead. And again. Problems for Junior. Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dale Jr. is scooting away.
Although there are a lot of scenarios that could play out tonight, simply put, if Dale Earnhardt Jr. finishes 20th or better, he is in the chase. And Junior, given your history of success here with 3 wins, how confident are you can drive your way into this championship chase tonight?
I feel good. We worked on the car in the first practice, and it wasn't very good. We made a lot of changes during the break. In the second practice, I was happy. We actually run a 10 in qualifying trim and just didn't have that kind of speed. And when we went out out there to make it count. But the car's got good speed in it. We just hopefully have a good run tonight and, can work our way up to the front. I want to run and try to win the race. I've always liked racing here and love short track racing, and want to get up there and see if we can try to win.
Hey, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. wants to get in the chase and needs to win a race. Maybe he'll accomplish both here tonight. Nicole?
Down on the grid, there's excitement, there are nerves and butterflies, and inside the ESPN pit studio, you have three people who are very much looking forward to watching it all unfold. Those three people, us. I'm Nicole Briscoe. That's Rusty Wallace, and we also have Brad Doherty in with us tonight.
Between us, we've got 6 wins here.
You don't want to add me to that?
No, you ain't part of it. This is me and him. 6 wins.
Let's see how it is.
Kicking butt here.
All right, I'm going to go over here now. Okay. Well, the reality of this race tonight, there are only 3 spots left to get into the chase, but there are 14 drivers who are eligible mathematically to claim those spots. A few of those drivers need some help. Some need, quite frankly, lots of help. Others control their own destiny, like Dale Earnhardt Jr. He is in if he finishes 20th or better. For Tony Stewart, it's 18th or better. Then there are guys like Paul Menard, Denny Hamlin. It is very simple. If you win, you are in. Now, Rusty, those are the easy scenarios. How does it feel to be a driver with one of those realistic chances to be in this chase?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know about you guys, but for me, as long as I got a chance that I can win this thing and I can get in it, hey, I'm okay. But the day I don't have a chance, that's the day I don't feel too good about it. But give me a chance. I'm all in. I've been in this situation many times. And when I'm out, I'm out. When I maybe can do it, boy, I'm all fired up.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I agree with you. Some guys handle the pressure better than others, and some are just slick. I'm looking at Clint Boyer and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Both of these guys are trying to deflect the pressure. I went to the media press conference with Clint the other day, and he was telling, oh, we're out of this thing. We don't have a chance. But Clint thinks he can win this race and get himself into this chase. And I tell you what, Dale Earnhardt Jr. as well. He's trying to deflect some of the energy, which is hard for him to do. My wife, of all people, the other day before I left the house, picks up the list of her chore list that she usually gives for me to do, and she's got it all figured out that Junior makes this chase because he's averaged a 14th place finish here. He's won 3 races here. All he has to do is be inside the top 18. He's in. She tells me in. But let me tell you something, Boo. He qualified 27th, and that is a problem at this racetrack.
But your wife is always right, so
that's true.
Therefore,
there is that.
It must happen.
There is that.
But you spoke of deflecting. You know who deflected in Miami last year heading into the championship race? Jimmy Johnson. He put all the pressure on Denny Hamlin, and we know how that one worked out.
Right.
Let's get back to this place, though. Richmond. Is there a better place for all of this to unfold?
No, there's not, because, the one reason I like about this track, Nicole, it's a driver's racetrack. Look, it's not like Talladega where you go down there and you got to depend on somebody else to run good. Or maybe not like a high horsepower track like Michigan or Chicago. We need a lot of power to run good. And, Brad, what about the road racers?
Yeah.
Every time we go to a road race, we're talking about the road race ringers, all this type of stuff. But at this place here, I feel like as a driver, I can control my own destiny. I feel like I'm more in control at this particular racetrack. I don't feel that way on the other racetrack.
Enough talk, because you know what's going to happen tonight? At the end of the night, we're finally going to know who is going to be in the chase field. We do have this guarantee. That guy, Jeff Gordon, he'll be in the field tonight. He's in the mix now with 85 career wins. He's 3rd on the all-time wins list, but can you believe there was a time, not so long ago, when Gordon doubted his ability to win a race, let alone a title?
Being in this sport as long as I have been, I have a greater appreciation for what it takes to win these days, and because I haven't won as much lately, I appreciate that type of victory.
Tomorrow morning, NFL Countdown kicks off at its new time, 10 a.m. for 3 hours of NFL news and information with some of the top insiders of the game. Join Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Bill Parcells, and others. 10 a.m. Of course, it all starts with SportsCenter at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Back here in Richmond, Virginia, and back at Richmond International Raceway, where we are getting ready for the last race of the regular season here in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. For the 14 drivers still fighting for a spot in the chase, there is no race bigger than this one. For Jeff Gordon, tonight has a different meeting. With 24, we'll start 17th, but this race isn't about making the chase. It's about bonus points for once the chase begins. Gordon is a postseason lock, which is a feeling 4-time does not take for granted, even after scoring his 85th career win earlier this week.
It's going to be a sideways run to the checkers. Johnson tries to get there, can't get it done. Career win number 85. Jeff Gordon, 3rd on NASCAR's all-time win list.
Hell yeah.
Richard Petty, David Pearson, and Jeff Gordon, third all-time in wins in NASCAR history now.
Jerry, I had totally forgot about that. I got so excited with the whole win.
85 kind of came to me after the fact because I wasn't thinking about that. But winning at this point in the season, carrying momentum into the chase as a team that can battle for the championship, holding off a 5-time champion who's dominated this sport the last 5 years, that's where my mind was at. I was thinking about winning, trying to make a statement about what type of race team we have right now.
New leader, Jeff Gordon.
Driving away. You guys are amazing. That was an awesome day. Way to go, yes!
This series is very competitive today. It's hard to win, 8 and 10 races like we did back in those mid and late 90s. I didn't expect to come into this sport and dominate and have the years that we had from 95 through 98.
The checkered flag waves over Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon's won it. That's one racer right there.
That was more of a surprise to me than anything else. But once you do that, you do build expectations within yourself. And, the realist came out in me when I realized we haven't won a championship since 2001. But to not have a win at all in a season,
Jeff Gordon has won on this track before, but I want you to look at this. Tracks at which Gordon has won, including 3 Daytona 500s, 23 different tracks in all. Short tracks, road courses, super speedways, the intermediate tracks. And Brad, one word comes to mind when you look at that: versatility.
Without question, those numbers are remarkable. And when you think of Jeff Gordon now, you have to think of him in the lights of Richard Petty with 200 wins, David Pearson with 105, Dale Earnhardt Sr., 7 championships, Jimmy Johnson with 5, and Jeff Gordon. And once you start looking at all those numbers, going back through the eras, you look at Jeff Gordon as racing and when the competition was the closest, when there was the most parity in the sport. 18-year career, and in his 18th year, he's winning races. So there's a very valid argument that Jeff Gordon is the greatest race car driver of all time.
I mean, because he can run at all those different racetracks, Brad. I mean, the road courses, the speedways, his short tracks, just like you said, that makes him one of the greatest in all time. And one thing that makes this guy great also, he understands what he needs out of his race car. If he tells his crew chief this thing is pushing or it's loose, he's going to work and work and work until he figures out how to get it done. He's done it with many crew chiefs, but I tell you one thing right now, this guy is back, and here's why he's back. He's got a crew chief right now, and Alan Gustafson, just like Ray Abraham.
Got that right.
Ray Abraham was incredible for Jeff Gordon.
Yeah.
This guy is rock and rolling, and right there, this is the magic man. He knows how to make it happen for Jeff Gordon. He's put Gordon back in his prime right now, and I will not doubt that Jeff Gordon will get out there and win this championship this year, guys.
Yeah, Alan Gustafson has awakened a sleeping giant in Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon is back, and Alan Gustafson is becoming a rock star. These guys are a formidable duo.
I believe earlier you called them the dynamic duo.
That's right.
Now listen to all that nice stuff. This is a guy I didn't like at one time. It's pretty good now, isn't it?
Yeah. Case in point.
There you go.
Hey, not lost on all of this chase talk and the Jeff Gordon talk is the date. 10 years ago, on September 11th, nearly 3,000 lives were lost in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. This weekend, the Stars and Stripes are an even greater symbol. They are a tribute to those lost on 9/11 and a promise to never forget.
this movie before, comes to one of his best racetracks, his home racetrack, not locked into the chase. Denny, you start 28th tonight. What are you focused on?
Being competitive. That's their number one goal is we need to be competitive tonight. We know if we do that, we're going to be fine. If we're not competitive, then we need to pay attention to our surroundings and what we got to do. But my job is to go out and put this car up in the front. And, we weren't that good yesterday. I think we found some stuff possibly that is the reason for it, and hopefully that's the case, and we get our old car back tonight.
He's won this fall Richmond race the last 2 years. This would be a great time for the three-peat. Nicole?
Well, it's not just about the drivers. A lot of the focus, of course, is on them because they're in the cars. But Tim Brewer in the Crossman Tech Garage, how can a crew chief give a little extra help to the driver who's trying to make the chase tonight?
Nicole, it's all about strategy. Every time the car went by me on pit road, strategy changes. What can I do to make the car faster? For instance, caution flag come out, 30, 35 laps to go. What are you going to do to make my car better? I'm going to give him 4 sticker tires, up the air pressure a little bit, giving him all the grip I can. Hey, the fuel tank, if we leave the fuel out of this fuel cell, it makes the car lighter. About 100 pounds, what I'd like to be lighter. That enables me, with the fuel out of the car, raise the rear spoiler up about 3/8 of an inch. What that's going to do is give me all the downforce we can possibly have. But with that said, light race cars, aerodynamics, that's the best possible scenario I can give a guy to be faster. And hey, after that, I'm all in. It's all up to you now, driver. Nicole?
Lots of strategy to play out tonight, but there are a few key points that you may want to avoid, like turn 2 on this track. This track can be tricky, and turn 2 can bite. In the last 11 years, there have been 44 accidents in turn 2 involving some 65 cars. So when we look at our Bush Baked Beans recipe for success, Rusty, I want to start right there. Turn 2.
Oh, yeah, turns 1 and 2. Tell you the truth, Nicole, at this particular racetrack, when I come here, I was always concerned about these turns. You fly down to the turn 1, the cars get loose. A lot of times they spin when they get underneath the car, they land in turn 2. It's a big problem area right there, Brad.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Turn 2 really gives them a lot of problems, like you say, 1 as well. But the other thing you got to really pay attention to is avoiding trouble. You have to stay out of everyone else's squabbles. We saw it last night in the nationwide race. We saw people get swept up in other people's issues on the racetrack, and that is taxing on a driver because you're constantly having to put yourself in a good position each and every lap so you can avoid those issues.
Yeah, another thing you do is manage your equipment. Don't go out there and tear your car up. Look at here, Denny Hamlin, 2008, out there running up front, dominating this race, 20 laps to go. Right front tire blows out because of brake problems, stuff like that. If a crew chief sees hot brakes, he needs to tell his guy about it and warn him because it'll tear tires up. Take care of your equipment. Yeah.
There are a couple of groups of drivers that we'll see out on the track tonight. This first group, let's call them the locked-in guys. They're locked into the chase.
Yeah, they're looking good, Roger. These guys have got no pressure. Do what you want. They're all going to go for a win, and then that's about it. Try to get some bonus points. The two guys that I'm really concerned about, though, are Dale Jr. in the 88 car and Tony Stewart in the 14. These guys need to run hard, but at the same time, they got to protect yourself. They need to look behind. They got to look forward, in and back. Probably a big job for these guys, Brad.
Yeah. But at least they control their own destiny. The third group of people, let's call them the Please Help Me, or the charter members of the Brad Keselowski fan
club.
They're
all cheering for Brad Keselowski tonight. So, but you're exactly right. And I think the whole deal comes down to Dale Earnhardt Jr., just like Rusty said, and Tony Stewart. Whatever happens to those two guys will swing the entire field one way or another. That's what I do believe.
And then there are the guys, there's actually a fourth group, the guys who can play spoiler. That also happens to be what our Coors Light pole sitter is hoping to do tonight. That is David Rudiman. He will lead the field to green. He will not be mathematically eligible to make the chase, but he can play spoiler and he can still get a win. Last question I have for you guys. When it's all said and done, who's in? Who's out?
I think the way it is right now, it's going to stay the same, Nicole. I really do. I think the 88 Junior is going to stay 9th. I think Stewart's going to stay 10th. Keselowski's in. Hamlin's in. But guess who is out, in my opinion?
Clint Boyer.
That's Clint Boyer. He's out.
I agree. And it's stayed this way for several weeks. I don't think it's going to change now. But I tell you what, get back with me at about 11:15, 11:30, and I'll give you a solid answer.
Oh, that'd be very nice of you. After it's all said and done. Hindsight is 20/20 for that guy down there. Lots of stuff to watch unfold on the track. 400 laps to determine who's in the chase and who's out. We'll be back from Richmond after this message and a word from our ABC stations. At Richmond International Raceway that will play host to the race to the chase tonight. 3 spots, 14 eligible drivers. They're mathematically still eligible. But tonight is also about remembering 10 years ago, September 11th. On the track tonight, so many tributes, including one car, no sponsor, few decals, just the stars and stripes. So now time to go trackside for a very special pre-race ceremony.
Fans, please rise and remove your hats as the Joint Services Color Guard from Fort Lee, Virginia, representing all branches of military service, present our nation's colors. Please welcome Danny Rodriguez, best known as the singing police officer from New York City, as he performs God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with palm. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with palm. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, our home, sweet
Please remain standing as Chaplain Joe Ellison from the Virginia Christian Alliance offers tonight's invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, we thank you tonight. We thank you for America. We thank you for this country that we love so much. Tonight, Lord, even though some of our hearts may be heavy with burden, tonight we celebrate your love. Thank you for all the wonderful men and women who serve our country around the world. Bless their families. Let us never forget those who sacrifice, policemen, firefighters, first responders. We love them. Bless their children. In Jesus' name, protect our drivers tonight. In Jesus' name, and we give you all the glory in your Son. In Jesus' name, amen.
And now please welcome the 29th Infantry Division Band, the pride of the Virginia National Guard, as they perform our national anthem.
The checkered flag second, but only the checkered flag could equal postseason dreams here in Richmond. When we come back, another flag, the green one. Stay with us.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on ABC. Brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. And Sprint, proud sponsor of the Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup.
25 races have put us in this position. One race to go until the chase field is set, and 400 laps here at Richmond International Raceway. And Alan Bestwick, you have the job of sorting it all out tonight.
Oh, but it's a fun job, and we are looking forward to a great night of racing here in Virginia's capital. Alongside Dale Jarrett and Andy Petrie, want to start with this. Over the 7 years, the chase format has been used to determine the championship. 4 times in 7 years, our Gillette Pro Glide profile shows us someone has raced their way into the field on the final night and someone has fallen out of the field. Skeptic or believer, we'll see how it works tonight. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Stewart, the only 2 guys that can fall out tonight that are in the top 10. They've said all the right things in the interviews and in the press conferences. What's the night really going to be like for them?
Yeah, they've done a nice job of convincing everyone around them, and probably somewhat themselves inside, as they try to make sure that they believe that they can get the job done. But these guys are a bundle of nerves. They know, especially starting where they are back in the middle of the pack, there's a lot of things that can happen in this night. They also know that they have the race teams and the talent to get the job done. But make no mistake about it, they are very nervous, especially about the start and restarts throughout this race.
Yeah, I don't know how the drivers handle this pressure, but I know it's tough on the crew chiefs. I mean, this race starts and you're worried about every single call you make because you're in. You don't want to make a call that's going to get you out. If you're one of the crew members that prepare the car, you don't want to be the guy that makes a mistake that costs you the car breaking and you're not in the chase. So it's a lot of pressure. And all those pit stops, no mistakes there either, because that can knock you out.
That's a thought on the chase. Let's talk about the overall race. And Andy, I'm going to borrow some of your own words from earlier today when we talked about this. A nothing to lose night for most of the guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of the stars in this show don't have anything to lose. They're just going to throw everything they have at going out there and getting a win. And it's going to be a fun night for them. I mean, it really is. They're just 3 points on the line. If they can get a win, it's going to help them win a championship, but they don't have anything to lose.
Yeah, and certainly we're going to talk a lot about the chase and everybody trying to get in or who's trying to make all of this happen. But there are other drivers involved, and I'll go right to the poll. David Rudiman, not going to be involved in the chase. Hasn't had the year he won, but we have seen him run extremely well with opportunities to win here at Richmond. Can he take that tonight, that pole position, and turn it into a victory for his team?
Every one of these drivers in this field is after one thing tonight: winning the race. The rest, they'll see how it all falls over 400 laps. And there are so many scenarios for this chase thing, we're truly not going to know how it's going to play out until the checkered flag waves. We can't get the green flag until we go trackside and get them started up.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Best known for his role as Gunnery Sergeant Hartman in Full Metal Jacket. Please welcome retired U.S. Marine R. Lee Irby as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
In honor of our beloved United States military, past, present, and future, and first responders, law enforcement, and firefighters, I take great pleasure in saying, let's get cracking. Drivers, start your engine.
You're right, your car, get up. Make sure you're clear of the 13th stall. Yeah, it's all good there. Okay. You got me? Front of his box, I'm good. Yep, I got you.
Almost time to go tonight in Richmond. The man who is the key to all of the various scenarios of who gets in and who maybe gets left out of the chase is our in-race reporter tonight. We'll talk with Brad Keselowski, a 3-time winner this year, when we come back. Beautiful setting, the Richmond International Raceway for tonight's 400-lap NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Go. A look at the starting lineup across the top of your screen. The field headed by Florida's David Rudiman. His first pole in some 2 1/3 seasons. Jamie McMurray alongside him on the front row with his best ever Richmond start. When we get back to row number 10, you will find our in-race reporter tonight, the man around which so many of the scenarios revolve, Brad Keselowski.
Hey, Brad, Dale Jarrett, ESPN. You have a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, Brad, let me say first, congratulations from all of us on making the chase. But overwhelmingly, in our ESPN mailbag question, Junior Nation is asking, will you try to help your friend Dale Jr. make the chase tonight?
Well, you know, I've had a lot of fun with Dale. He's a great friend, a great competitor. And he gave me the break that I need to get to this level, and I appreciate that. But, you know, part of the giving that break is knowing that I would give 100% in everything I do, and I'm going to give my team 100% tonight and race as hard as I can, and whatever happens, happens.
All right, let's stick with this. I know that you're very aware that you're right in the middle of many of these chase scenarios. Have you been thinking about that, and what are your thoughts on that racing tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been thinking about it. You know, there's a lot of cars here that need some help for me as far as getting in the top 10. You know, we got Paul Menard and some of these other guys that have wins that would get moved up. So, you know, I think I'm hoping they'll catch me a couple breaks when I need them, and that'll help us out.
All right, Brad, thanks for talking with us. You have a great night, buddy.
Thank you very much, Dale, and enjoy the race here.
Brad Keselowski, our in-race reporter tonight here in Richmond. Our onboard cameras, one of them in Brad's car, but talk about storylines, right? We've got the two drivers that are in chase position that haven't clinched yet, Junior and Stewart. We've got the two wild card guys, Brad and Denny Hamlin. One trying to displace them, Clint Boyer, and a couple of pretty good candidates to win the race, Martin Truex and Kurt Busch, Bobby Labonte, former champion. A lot of good looks tonight for our go here in Richmond.
Yeah, should be fun to watch from those in-car cameras.
And our over-the-wall reporter tonight is changing front tires on David Gilliland's car is Kenyatta Houston. Kenyatta's going to have his hands full down there on this short track pit road.
Get him.
Have a good night tonight.
All right, all right.
And for some stories on some of the main players in tonight's championship picture, we begin with our Vince Welch.
Alan, Clint Boyer can still make the chase, but he must win the race if he's to make the chase, and then he needs some help even beyond that. Win the race and get some help. It's all or nothing for Clint Boyer tonight. Dave Burns?
Denny Hamlin has made his first 5 chases, but he's not in this one yet. A win or a best case scenario will get him in there this year. He told me in Countdown he's got to be competitive. He hopes they turn around their car that wasn't great in practice so that he can race his way into the chase. Dr. Jerry Punch?
In September 1999, Tony Stewart won his first career Cup race here at Richmond. And that jump-started a career that now includes 2 NASCAR Sprint Cup titles. Tonight, all Tony has to do is finish 18th or better to get a shot at title number 3. Jamie Little.
And just like Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr. must race his way into the chase tonight. The magic number is 20th. If he can finish 20th or better, they'll do just that. Now, they put Jeff Gordon's setup on this car, and the team is optimistic. Alan Bestway.
Jamie, thanks. Earnhardt Jr. driving a Chevrolet. Chevy brings you Drive It Like You Want It. Enter for a chance to win a new Chevy Silverado and a trip to Texas Motor Speedway to meet Team Chevy drivers Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon. Visit driveitlikeyouwantit.com right now. Another Chevy driver, Jimmy Johnson. His team always with a good pre-race pep talk on the radio before the race starts. What about tonight's?
And once again, everybody remember what happened here 10 years ago on 9/11. It's great to see all these patriotic teams, everybody here to support our services and what everybody does for us, the New York Fire Department, everybody that's been involved. We appreciate what you do. Enjoy the race.
Crew Chief Chad Knaus, and so many red, white, and blue and star-spangled paint schemes by race teams and their sponsors in the field for tonight's race. Our broadcast tonight available in Spanish by activating your SAP button. That coverage presented by ESPN Deportes. Saturday night short track racing. Always a great spectacle no matter when the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series goes at it. Tonight, of course, with the added wrinkle of having those precious positions available in NASCAR's chase for the Sprint Cup. Couple of spots, 3 in total, available to as many as possibly 14 drivers tonight, and they're going to try and lock up those spots in the confines of the beating and banging and sparks flying short track racing that we've come to expect.
Yeah, I think a lot of drivers will tell you this is, if you could have a template of the perfect racetrack, many say this is. Most of these drivers enjoy this. Andy, I don't know, it could be at a better spot to try to see exactly who's going to be a part of the chase.
It is going to be a fun night. You're right. It is just one of the best racetracks, and especially at night under the lights, it's going to be a great show.
How will it unfold? What will be the stories they'll be writing about for the papers tomorrow at the end of this night? Who's going to win the race? And will Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. hang on to those spots in the chase they enter this race holding on to? This on Stewart's Radio.
Good luck, guys. We'll just do what we've been doing. We got a car that's good enough to do it on our own. We don't have to worry about what everybody else does tonight. We'll just do our own thing. We can do this all night long, 400 laps of it. We can do it.
Stewart getting ready to begin along with the other 42 in the field as the pace car hits pit road. How wild will it be? Who gets in? Who gets left out? And who wins at the end of 400 laps tonight in Richmond? The green flag is out. McMurray in the one, trying to wrestle the lead away from Ruderman in the double O. And here comes Jimmy Johnson, looking low in the 48.
Seeing some grip in that high lane there, even though Ruderman slips back to third there as Jimmy Johnson takes second. But I think we'll see this racetrack widen out even more than what we did last night in the nationwide race.
Double wide, A.J. Allmendinger, 43. Jeff Burton, 31. That's for 7th and 8th places. And trouble already. Turn 4. Andy Lally in the 71 car is in the wall. Caution flag is out.
Saw Andy Lally lock the wheels up, get into turn 1 on the very first lap. I don't know what happened here, but I did see that earlier out of this car.
Lally was running 36th at the time and has had the back end of his car rearranged. After some contact. Looks like Mike Bliss in the 32.
Yeah, that turn 3 is a tough spot to enter side by side at times. Car really wants to get loose there. All you do, you might catch the apron just a little bit with the left front and it shoots you straight up the track.
So Jamie McMurray, the early leader. We are quickly, though, under caution at Richmond. We'll come back for the restart after this message and a word from our ABC stations. We've just gone back to green at Richmond. Jamie McMurray, Jimmy Johnson, 1 and 2 in the 1 and 48 cars, respectively. With pole sitter David Ruderman sliding in third, 33 and 5. Clint Boyer, Mark Martin racing for 4th and 5th. A few years back when trouble there. Boyer spinning around in turn 4. And trouble behind him. About a half a dozen cars going to pile up in the aftermath.
88 car's got a little damage in the front. Quite a bit, actually.
Yes, sir.
That could be radiator right there, too.
This is what qualifying back in the pack can get you when you're behind all of this stuff.
A few years back when Dale Earnhardt passed away, NASCAR fans started this tradition of being silent on lap 3 of the race that was picked up and run with to pay tribute to him. For its tribute to those lost in the 9/11 tragedies tonight, NASCAR has asked fans and broadcasters to be silent for laps 9 through 11. We start lap 9 right now. certainly we add our tribute to the families of all of those lost on 9/11 from Richmond tonight. We look at some of the damage as we get back to racing with Denny Hamlin, one of the championship contenders in a wild card spot starting the night. Dave, looks like he's dinged up pretty good.
Significant damage, Alan. They've already gone to the right side. They used a tool called the claw to pull the splitter bars forward of the right front tire to try to clearance it. They've tried to clearance the fenders on the left side now. They're going to put 4 tires on. It is overheating. He'll go around the track. They'll come back down pit road and work some more. Jamie.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a significant amount of damage on the nose of that car. He already brought it down one time. He said his wheel is off a little bit. So they were checking the toe to make sure everything looked good there. Their biggest concern, you see it there, is overheating. So they pulled a little bit of heat. Steve Letard's crew chief there, very calm on the radio, talking everybody through what was going to happen. They put 4 new tires on him, pulled some tape. They're going to feel it out here and see if they do need to bring it in once again.
Now, those stops for Junior and Denny Hamlin have come while pit road is closed. NASCAR leaving the pit road closed because the safety workers have been there trying to work to remove the car of Robbie Gordon where it sits after the wreck that started with one car getting spun around and ended with about a half a dozen others in the jam.
It looked like it was going to be innocent enough. I mean, Clint Boyer got his left front down on the apron there, got him loose up into the 0-0 of David Rudiman. It looked like he was kind of up out of the way, but then things started happening. Looks like maybe Junior got in the back of Matt Kenseth in the 17, and that triggered a lot of things happening after that.
Yeah, it looked like the 33 car, Boyer, was going to be able to just drive away with no damage other than that contact right there. And then, boy, did it break loose behind him.
Racing for 3rd spot at the time.
Yeah, it does look like Junior got into Matt Kenseth, and that just caused everybody.
Yeah, you can see Hamlin hard into the outside wall.
Riding here with Clint Boyer.
Hang on to it, lock it down, hold the brake.
And with Dale Jr.
Check it out, watch him here, go low, keep coming there. Go low, keep coming low, watch him.
So an early twisted plot here at Richmond. Dale Jr. and Denny Hamlin both damaged in a wreck at lap number 8. Working on their cars. Already the second caution in the very early going tonight in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race here at Richmond International Raceway. This one, a big one for all of the discussion about chase scenarios and those who might try and race their way into the championship. A couple of the guys involved in all those discussions dinged up pretty good in this one. Denny Hamlin lost a lap getting those repairs that Dave Burns was documenting earlier. So Hamlin right now back in 40th position and back for more.
See all the special tools they have ready to go just for this situation, and it looks like it's paying off. Dave?
Well, they were checking the shock mount in the left front there. In fact, I'm going to switch my scanner back on just to see if they determine if the shock mount is okay. Mike Ford's words, if that's a bent thing, we've got bigger problems. But they're trying to get the left front up a little bit. They were going to put a quarter packer in the left front of that race car to try to lift the front end a little bit more. They're putting patches on as well. One good thing, Denny thought the steering was really messed up. Since he's been around the track a couple times, he said the steering is not all that bad, but his car is in woeful shape right now.
Yeah, he made that hard contact with the outside wall, and you see all the other damage on the left side. I guess they're wondering, you know, that he's probably going out there running fast enough to see if it's going to drag, and it must be hitting the splitter or hitting something while they thought they might need another packer.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car in, getting more attention done to it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that damage didn't get the radiator, because it's back quite a ways there.
All right, go ahead. Nice and easy. Don't speed.
Let's go to Tim Brewer in our Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim?
AB, you have to have airflow here for 2 things. That's the brake ducts to cool the brakes and the radiator. And that air passing through here, if it gets anywhere in an area of the ductwork in this area over the front of the radiator, you're going to have a situation where you're not going to have adequate airflow to the radiator, and that's when you're going to burn the engine up, and that will put you out of the race for a championship. AB?
What are they saying about this 88, Jamie?
Well, they pitted 4 times now, and you can see the front. Tim Brewer was talking about the tape. Well, they pulled all the tape off of the front of this car. The problem is, Alan, they don't want to lift the hood. They're scared they won't get it closed. the side and underneath trying to clear all of those fenders. We'll keep our eye on the 88, Alan.
Yeah, if they raise that hood, it could be a problem. Maybe not getting it back latched. They'd end up sitting there losing laps trying to do that. They're just going to hope for the best here.
All right, so eventful to start. Denny Hamlin on pit road as the field comes to the restart. Green flag. Pace car is off.
Okay, go. Gotta go.
Hamlin going to try and catch up. We go green. This restart presented by American Ethanol. Jimmy Johnson to the outside of Jamie McMurray while Kevin Harvick in that black 29 looks for some running room.
I don't believe I'd block Kevin Harvick. That's what I saw last night.
Apparently didn't watch that nationwide race, did they? But this is twice now that we've seen the car on the outside on restart be able to take the lead.
You saw that defensive move Jamie McMurray made getting down into turn 3, just like kind of what you see right here.
That's Montoya in the 42, Kyle Busch in the 18. That's Kurt Busch in the 22, hanging on the outside.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of rubber put down in that outside groove yet, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get a driver where he really feels comfortable. You see Kurt Busch just kind of tiptoeing around there, not able to get in the throttle.
Racing there with Jeff Burton. That's Mark Martin behind him in the 5 and going to slide through. Boy, Kurt's got his hands full.
Left side.
Maybe he has a flat tire.
He thinks he's got a problem.
Look at that right rear, Andy. Look at the right rear.
Yeah, he does have a problem. It does look like maybe that right rear is soft. Doc?
Yeah, Andy, they're saying right rear tire. He said it was going in a lap and a half ago and almost lost the car into the wall. Said, I got to come in this time. So they're going to bring him in and go ahead and replace all 4 tires. Tough break early on for Kurt Busch. The only good news is he's already in the chase.
Okay, how many laps is it going to take him to get to pit road, though? He's got a line of cars down there.
Yeah, and you don't want to be the caution if you can.
You just want the left side skirt or you want all 4? They want to know. I'm pretty sure it's the left front. Glad I built it as here comes the green.
Kurt Busch, you can hear, is thinking it's the left front tire that's down that's creating these issues.
Left front looks up.
Yeah, this left side is fine.
All right, well, you heard Kurt. He thinks it's that left front, so we'll see what they do if and when he's able to get through some of this traffic and get down to pit road. Right now, though, Kurt, who started in 11th position, has worked his way back to 19th and fallen. Quick mentions to catch you up on some things. Scott Speed, Robbie Gordon, both involved in that second accident, treated and released from, or checked out and released from the infield medical center. Andy Lally car in the garage area as well after damage from the first caution. Had trouble turn 2. That's Casey Kane. And we're under the yellow for a 3rd time.
A big break for Denny Hamlin, who wasn't that far in front of leader Jimmy Johnson to keep trying to keep from going that second lap down.
Left rear corner is pushed in pretty good.
A big break for Kurt Busch.
Yeah, huge break for Kurt Busch.
He was trying to get to pit road to pit under green, and he just couldn't get there.
Yeah, well, actually worked out in his favor there,
yeah,
not being able to get down.
You want to catch the caution, you don't want to be the caution.
Yeah, he hung on to not be the caution. Looked like it was close to him, though.
Yeah, the caution was for Casey Kane, who was running 11th at the time. Former Richmond winner. In fact, got his first career win at this racetrack, but backside of that Red Bull car's kind of beaten up. Brad Keselowski going to be the first to make a move to pit road, the 14th place car.
Number 14, there's Tony Stewart in also.
And Brad Keselowski in his pit box, 4 tires filling up with fuel. So far, the car has been pretty good. And Tony Stewart, who told me before this race, we have a top 10 car. A little bit slow on the left-hand side. Wipe the grill. He's down and away. Let's go over to you, Doc.
22 car is in, and they're looking. They thought now it was a left front, so he's down 4 tires. Going to look at the tires and check it out. They remind him, don't speed on pit road, as he just launched out of his pit box.
All right, so again, from 14th on back, where they started pitting, we'll see where those cars come out and restart in a moment. Work on Casey Kane's car ongoing as we get a look ahead from Brad Keselowski's onboard camera and see what brought out our third caution of this race.
Slow up in front of you, slow up high, slow up high, slow up high, slow up high.
Little contact.
And the caution is out. All right.
From behind. Yellow fever early on tonight here in Richmond. Doubled up for the restart here at Richmond International Raceway, wrapping up our third caution of the race. That caution giving David Gilliland the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass. He was the first guy lapped down, gets back on the lead lap. If they can get that car fixed and off pit road in time. Vince, what about Clint Boyer?
Well, bad news, good news. Bad news, he lost all that track position being involved in the incident. The good news, that left front damage just behind the left front tire. It's not rubbing on the tire. They've been in twice to pull it out, but they don't think it's going to hamper them too much.
Jimmy Johnson leading and gets away from Kevin Harvick on the restart. A little bit rugged to start the race. Let's see how many laps they get going this time. And someone suggested there might be a full moon.
It started out like that for sure.
I really like the way Harvick's car looked off of turn 2 on that first lap. He passed Jamie McMurray on the outside, got a big run. Haven't seen anybody really be able to go on the outside.
Double wide from 4th on back. It's Montoya 42, Ruderman 00. And 3 wide behind them.
These are some of the cars that have new tires on.
Junior in a 3 wide position right there, right in the middle, as you can see. Able to get out of that and now put himself back in 3 wide on the bottom. Martin Truex in trouble.
Right front down on that car. He got banged up in that big crash up in turn 4. As Jimmy Johnson overtakes the David Gilliland car that was just off pit road at the end of that restart. Johnson settling in, couple of car lengths in front of Kevin Harvick now with the first 5. Back to 5th place, Kyle Busch sorted out single file, 3 wide into the corner. Look out. Doc got some troubles there with Martin Truex.
Absolutely. One of the drivers who thought he might have an outside chance to get into chase tonight has already been on pit road twice because of damage in that incident a few laps ago to repair some of the bars in the back and pull some sheet metal away.
That's
trouble.
Marcus Ambrose, Doc, going around off turn 2.
We got wrecked.
I think if we could come up with I think if we came up with a theme for this night, it's that all those guys with that shot at getting into the championship,
in trouble.
They're all in trouble in the early going, in one form or another. Ambrose, of course, with the win at Watkins Glen, one of those guys that if he could win this race and some other circumstances fall his way, could have a shot at getting one of the wild cards in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. But that beaten-up race car is not going to help him win.
No, he got a little bit of damage in that first incident, but it didn't look like it hurt the car too much. He was trying to make his way back forward.
Good news for Denny Hamlin. First guy a lap down. So Hamlin is going to get the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass. He's going to get to come back around on the lead lap. Denny 36th place. Remember, nicked up in that big crash in turn 4 a little while ago. So what's put the yellow out this time?
Dale Jr. getting a little piece of the 9 car there. But that's short track racing. That's what we talked about was going to happen at Richmond here.
Yeah, what happened, you had a lot of cars in front of this group that did not have new tires, and almost every one of these cars from Junior back had new tires.
Yeah, and actually looked like Ambrose probably had to check up to keep from getting into the 6 car of David Reagan. Junior was in the throttle coming off the corner, just happened to get into the back of him.
Clear.
Yeah, you can see Ambrose's car slow down right there as Junior was accelerating.
Clear, all clear. Good job.
So eventful would be a good description of the opening laps tonight here in Richmond as Ambrose gets patched up. Pit road is going to be open now for the lead lap cars, and none of the guys at the very front of the pack are buying at the moment. Dale Jr.'s radio a minute ago.
Yeah, that was my fault, I guess. I probably should get more room of that. Got a couple nose and tail light lift.
Yeah, kind of came across. He was in the gas. Had to go. It's time to go. Can't be messing around here.
Can't wait long on a short track. You'll find that leader.
Well, you'll get hit from behind if you check up. So I think that's these drivers that are trying to make it. Probably their worst fear is getting in a situation where they get hit from behind and knocked into something.
And while we have a moment under the caution, the president of NASCAR, Mike Helton, has stepped into the booth to join us. Mike, at the beginning of this season, NASCAR made adjustments to the way this field for the championship was going to be determined, brought the wild card into play. What have you been hearing about fans as we've built up toward tonight?
Yeah, I think a lot of energy's been put into the chase in general this year, and then the wild card put emphasis on winning races, and I think we've seen the results of that in the first 25 races, and the first 40 laps tonight's a little bit that way too. So.
Yeah, got to go now.
Yeah.
The 9/11 tribute before the race. I know NASCAR was really thankful for all of the involvement that it had tonight in making that happen.
Yeah, and you know, every September race in Richmond, we have a chance to remember 9/11, and of course this one's special because of the 10th anniversary, and it's a good opportunity to remember what happened, the families that were directly affected, the soldiers who went to react on our behalf ever since then, the first responders that did what they did fearlessly and courageously that day and ever since. So it's a good opportunity to highlight all that and just remember, because we should never forget what happened that day and the ramifications from it, and we should teach people that weren't around that day what that day meant to all of us, and remember that as big as tonight is for us, there are bigger things that can happen.
Absolutely. As we turn our attention back to the race, a lot of folks have asked, how will you officiate tonight? They ask the drivers all the time, do you race any differently? Do you officiate any differently tonight?
Well, what you really do is you take a race like this and you try to officiate all the other ones like this one, because it needs to be it needs to be the same every weekend. Certainly we maybe have a little more anxiety and watch a lot more stuff go on, but we try to do them all the same.
Well, I guess the boys are having at it tonight.
They certainly seem like it. I mean, we're not barely 10% through tonight, and there's been a lot of action. But, you know, that's Richmond, and it's actually kind of encouraging to see Richmond shine again like this, because, you know, we've seen a lot of years up here racing where it's aggressive, and they've certainly started off that way tonight.
Mike, we've had a lot of years, and I just want to say thanks for what your part and everyone else at NASCAR for doing these very special things and providing us a chase that's going to be extremely special too here.
Yeah, these are proud moments when you introduce soldiers in the drivers' meeting or particular dignitaries that had a role in all the things that we depend on having done, and see our industry react to it, the fans in the grandstand. That makes you proud of our sport, and we certainly are.
Congratulations in advance on what's going to be a great night.
Thank you.
NASCAR President Mike Helton, great crowd here in Richmond, all coming to their feet. That can only mean one thing: green flags back in the air. Jimmy Johnson with a challenge from Kevin Harvick for the lead. A challenge, but not a successful one yet.
Able to hold him off for the time being. You know, we've had questions here the last few weeks about Kevin Harvick and his race team getting back on track. They have those 3 wins, but performing hasn't been something they've done the last couple of months. So nice to see him running up front again.
Side by side there, Jeff Burton, A.J. Allmendinger for position. That's 8th and 9th. First double wide.
The last thing a lot of these drivers like Tony Stewart and Dale Jr. wanted to see tonight was a lot of cautions, double up, get the field bunched up again. So far in these first 45 laps, that's about all that they've done is be in that situation.
Just when they get their breath, caution comes out and got to do it again.
Martin Truex Jr. back on pit road again. Looks like another flat right front, so the damage that car got in the lap 8 caution is continuing to compound for the New Jersey native.
I've just seen more 3 wide entering these corners than what I can remember in the past. We see them get in that situation on the front stretch, but they usually sort it out by the time they get to the corner, but nobody's given much here tonight.
Yeah, look at Clint Boyer's car after that hard lick he took on the left front. Looks like it's real strong. He's 3 wide, looking 3 wide again, getting into one. Vince?
Yeah, I just talked with crew chief Shane Wilson, and he said actually the car's not too bad considering the degree of hit that we took. He said it's not rubbing the tire. We've got a little more fresh tires as well, so look for Boyer to try to move here in these early laps of the stint.
My concern for Clint Boyer, confirm this for me, driver, but when you see a fender bent in like that, sometimes that's going to create an opening for fumes to get up into the race car.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You can see that crush panel knocked out right there, and that's just allowing all of this hot air, heat, carbon monoxide right into the driver's compartment. And we talk about this just being 400 laps. That is a long night, and it's something that you work with anyway here at Richmond as a driver.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If NASCAR would let me, that's exactly the way I would shape that back of that front fender, though. That's great for downforce, having that opening back there and letting all the air out from under the hood behind that tire. It might even help that car.
Race for fourth here. Kyle Busch in the 18. The Star Spangled car tonight. This is a race that was supposed to be for his sponsor M&M Mars. And after the 9/11 attacks of 10 years ago, they ran a car painted like this in a race, and they wanted to bring it back.
Yeah, a guy named William Clements is the one that designed this, works for M&M's. Nice to see.
Kyle Busch doing it proud tonight, running fourth behind McMurray, Harvick, and the leader, Jimmy Johnson. Trouble in turn 4. Casey Kane with a hard hit again.
That was with his teammate, Brian Vickers.
If I saw that right, Kane took a double hit there. He went up to the top side and then down to the inside.
See him moving in the car, and there goes the window now. That's a good sign. Man, he hit hard.
Wow. Casey Kane, one of those guys that started this day with an outside, really outside shot at trying to make the championship, but boy.
You see the two teammates racing side by side, but Marcus Ambrose gets into the left rear of Brian Vickers. His teammates on the outside, nowhere to go. Casey Kane's had a very hard night here, getting hit a couple of different times, hard licks here.
And just like you said, Dale, it's more 3 wide entering the corner than I remember here. A lot of aggressive driving.
That was a race for 26th position.
It's not normally somewhere that you put yourself in a 3 wide position, and it wasn't even a door or
really
a slide opening there at all that Ambrose, yeah.
Now there's a little follow-up there.
Tear it up anymore if you can. Please let it roll. Come. Oh, hit pit road here. Hit pit road.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you that he's not Vickers. He's just not happy about what happened there.
You can't blame him for that.
I don't blame him at all.
Let's see right here. Oh, yeah.
NASCAR has told Brian Vickers to take that car to the garage area and keep it there for a while.
I think that's where he was headed anyway.
And he will have a little huddle with the officials afterwards at their request.
Yeah, when you get in that position, though, you're not really concerned about all of that.
For some reason, you guys just don't seem to consider that possibility.
Not what's on your mind at all. You're pretty angry about the situation and what happened, and is it right to, pay it back with the race cars in these situations? Everybody has a different opinion there, but I can assure you, as a competitor sitting in there, and you feel like you've been done totally wrong, you're ready to take action right then.
Pit road closed because that's where Casey Kane's car has come to rest, right at the opening to pit road inside of turn 4. So the crew's still waiting to go to work. The AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award is determined by the winner of each race, the fastest pit time, and you, the fans, vote. Text the car number to 234-567 for your pit crew choice. The AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award. Pit crews of the lead cars have not done any over-the-wall work yet tonight in the race, even though we're under the 4th caution now. Most of the front runners have stayed out.
Oh, but they won't back in that mess going on.
Well, I'm trying to figure out this strategy because you had some of the cars that pitted back I think it was lap 28 or 30, and have fresh tires, this might be an opportunity to kind of get off sequence of some of these leaders, because you know the leaders will probably be coming when pit road opens. And we'll see what happens. Tony Stewart was one of those, Brad Keselowski.
And they had to make those stops thinking that that might get them in a situation that they may play some strategy
just getting off
to stay out. Yes.
Looks like Clint Boyer is the farthest ahead in the field, Andy, of guys who have made a pit stop so far, and he's all the way back up to 11th.
Yeah, it was lap 28 that most of those guys did pit. That's when Boyer pitted last, and Kenseth.
Yep.
Looks like David Reagan, Kurt Busch.
Well, if you have not been with us right from the start of this one yet, you've missed a lot already. We've had Denny Hamlin and Dale Jr. in a wreck back at lap number 8 that was started when Clint Boyer spawned racing with David Ruderman for a position ahead of them. They all piled up afterwards. Casey Kane has been in 2 accidents at lap 27 and again at 53. Neither one of them his fault.
No, wrong place at the wrong time for those.
And that is what's left of the 4-car after a brief, frustrating night here in Richmond. As far as at the head of the pack, Jamie McMurray and Jimmy Johnson have done all the leading. And as they begin to move some of the safety equipment away from the opening of pit road, we'll expect the leaders to be in shortly. Vince, what are you hearing?
Well, Jimmy Johnson's pretty happy with his race car. In fact, when they do come to pit road, they're just going to take 4 tires and not make any changes, air pressure or chassis, to the car. So no issues for Jimmy Johnson at this point. Chad Knaus fairly pleased. Now let's check in with Dave Burns.
Kevin Harvick running second. Not too bad was the way he called his car. Just a little bit tight in the center. No wrenches in the hands of the crew yet. So perhaps an air pressure adjustment. Big question might be for track position 2 or 4. Doc?
And for the 1 car, Jamie McMurray, a little bit loose on entry, a little snug in the middle, and a little bit loose off. Can't do too much adjusting on the entry because you'll hurt the exit, and the drive off is critical here at Richmond. Crew's waiting for him to come down this time.
Pit road is open. Here they come. Jimmy Johnson leading them in.
Chad Knaus says he expects his pit crew to be flawless, and they have been better this year. As mentioned, a 4-tire change, 1 can of fuel, no changes to the 48. Doc?
Air pressure change only for the 1 car. McMurray right side tires going on. Going to go ahead and put 4 on it. Top it off with Sunoco fuel. Dave.
4 tires is the call for Kevin Harvick. Sunoco fuel. Air pressure change in the left side tires. The race off pit road will be down in the lower right-hand side there. David Ruderman will be passed by Carl Edwards, who took just 2 tires.
And some other guys did not pit under this caution. There'll be a new leader when we go back to racing after this. Matt Kenseth leads the field of the restart as we come back to Richmond, challenged immediately by Kurt Busch for the race lead.
Kurt Busch got all 4 tires pumped up now. He's ready to go.
And with everything that's happened in the early laps, I can't remember if we came back and followed up that it was the right rear that was down on that 22 car earlier.
Kenseth get real high, opens the door. Kurt Busch right there.
6 cars did not pit under the caution. Kenseth in the 17, Kurt Busch in the 22, Keselowski in the 2, Reagan in the 6, Logano in the 20. Carl Edwards with just the right side tires in the 99 car was the first of the guys who did stop.
I'm impressed with Matt Kenseth. He hadn't had a good car at all this weekend. Talked to Jimmy Finnick this morning. He changed a lot of things on this car and looks like it's working good.
As they run now, things tightened up with that last little strategy play. Earnhardt Jr. and Stewart back in the field a bit. Keselowski up the front, but that picture will change a bunch as the night goes.
Yeah, Dale Jr. and them tried a little different strategy. They were kind of on the same tires and fuel as these guys that are out front right now, but they chose to just come get some fuel in that car. Moved them up, but got them right in the middle of things with tires that aren't quite as good as a lot around them.
Looks like it's going to be a track position game all night long because tires are not going to be able to overcome this track position, doesn't look like.
Kevin Harvick, 29. First guy that changed 4 tires on that pit stop, trying to dig his way back up through. He restarted in 8th.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick has a really good car. He's got a good track record at this racetrack. And I know that he would certainly like to have a great night, get some more bonus points as he enters the chase next week at Chicago, too.
If we do get a long run, which we haven't had one yet, I think these tires will take over on the cars that just pitted, especially for like Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson, who have really good cars.
While we continue to watch some of the action on the track, let's hear from Casey Kane, who just took a hard hit, Jamie.
He did. He was checked and released. The car's not looking as good. But Casey, what exactly happened with you and Marcus Ambrose and your teammate? What exactly happened?
I haven't seen it. I have no idea. I just know that I was on the outside going down the straightaway, and then I just started to turn in. And 83 hit me pretty hard. So I was thinking maybe he got hit by someone else, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know exactly what happened. It's kind of a weird deal.
Well, it's good to see you're okay, Casey. We're going to get back to racing, but the 83 guys, they are working on that car. Brian Vickers is in the car, and they said he's going to be kept in there, held by NASCAR for quite a few more laps.
Yeah, Jamie, he was told to take the car to the garage and leave it there for a little while, and they'd tell him when it was okay to bring it back out. So he's still waiting for that word. So Matt Kenseth leading, but now Kevin Harvick is up to second.
Like Kyle Busch on pit road.
Indeed. 18 car with an unscheduled stop. We'll follow up on that right now, Doc.
And Kyle is saying he thinks he may have a loose wheel from that previous pit stop. Got a vibration, got worse, began to bob and weave, couldn't take a chance, came in, going to change right sides only, and check it out. So they're going to go ahead and do all four. They've listened to Andy Petrie over the years. If you don't know which one, go ahead and put left side tires on as well. And now he's down the way. Unscheduled stop for a vibrating loose wheel.
Yeah, you got to bite the bullet on that one. You just got to get all four, because you just hardly ever get it right when you try to get two tires.
Yeah, the two drivers that have dominated at this racetrack recently, though, Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, both having problems here early on.
So Kyle Busch goes a lap down to 33rd position for the moment after that stop. Here's the guy that's really on a tear. Remember, he was sitting there torn up at lap 8. Clint Boyer charging back up through.
Not only is he charging, but his car looks good enough that he could get up to the front, win, and he could be in.
Speaking of up front,
his teammate challenging for the lead here, Kevin Harvick.
Harvick trying to overtake Matt Kenseth, get out in front of the race. Harvick, one of the guys already with a locked-in place in the chase, but who could help himself with a win tonight by bonus points for the reseeding to begin the final 10 races. That'll be done, for the most part, based on wins.
How high Matt Kenseth's been running, though.
So Kevin Harvick goes through for the lead and is out in front of this race as we approach the 1/4 mark. We're back to Richmond after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
I'm Reese Davis in the studio, keeping your finger on the primetime pulse. On ESPN, Notre Dame and Michigan, first night game in the Big House. Tommy Rees has now completed 8 straight passes. With that one, you see to Michael Floyd. Notre Dame on the way to another score. And BYU on ESPN2 with a 10-point lead on Texas, Nicole.
Thanks, Reeks. Back at Richmond International Raceway, we were 81 laps into this 400-lapper with Kevin Harvick out front. Just a few spots back, you'll find his teammate in 7th. That is the 33 car of Clint Boyer.
Tell you, we saw the 33 car get in that accident earlier in the race, Nicole, and he got some damage on the front of that car, especially behind the left front tire, and a lot of us thought that was really going to slow him down. You see his teammate right there, Kevin Harvick, up there leading this race right now.
There
and here comes
is
Clint Boyer right there.
Let's take an inside look at what's happening in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, brought to us by Sprint. And Clint Boyer is certainly on a run. He had an issue earlier, making his way back up to the front of the field. Get a closer look at NASCAR Sprint Cup Series with unlimited access to highlights, news, and more. Learn more at sprint.com/speed. That accident earlier, you think it's helping him?
I tell you what, I do think the accident has actually helped Clint Boyer. You see that big hole behind the left front tire? Our Andy Petrie kind of hit on it earlier. What that's doing right there, guys, is relieving pressure under the hood, letting the air get up under the car. It creates more downforce on the left front corner of the car. It makes our car handle better. In fact, the last couple laps, he's been as fast as our leader, Kevin Harvick. So, Brad, this is not a bad thing that happened to Clint Boyer. It's a good thing, kind of accidental.
Yeah, he's ripping off some really fast laps laps. Matter of fact, he and Kevin Harvick, the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack throughout the race. But Kevin Harvick's done a great job. He's good at this racetrack, like we said before. He's put that car out front. He is going to be tough to get around tonight. Kevin Hart has set sail.
Well, let's have Nationwide Insurance get us up to speed, starting with that leader. Dave?
Nicole, on the lap 61 restart, Kevin Harvick was 8th, but he had those 4 fresh tires, and they made a little bit of an air pressure adjustment to help his car turn. By lap 74, he was passing Matt Kenseth for the lead. Right now that he's out in the clean air, the car's just a little loose everywhere. Vince?
Well, it's been an eventful night for Matt Kenseth. He suffered some early damage with the race car in an incident. Look at him there in the yellow, and now he's got this issue. The tachometer broke. Well, maybe it's just a loose wire because now it has come back on. That's something we'll definitely keep an eye on. Dave?
Carl Edwards running third, thinks he might have a little technical issue too. Listen.
Hey, same problem. They're idling in, trying to get in. Can't turn right, like power steering is locked up a little bit. Never had that on the Cup car. I don't think Nationwide car. We had that trouble a month or so ago.
Doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. By the way, Bob Osborne, his crew chief, just told him, your brake rotors look better than those around you. Good job. Keep taking care of those brakes. Vince?
The 48 is 5-time champion Jimmy Johnson. Chad Knaus told me earlier today the one thing they fought is tight in the center. They didn't make any changes on their first pit stop, but Jimmy just said the car is starting to get a little snug in the center. Doc.
Juan Pablo Montoya couldn't get his car in the top 20 in practice all weekend. Now he's trying to dive underneath the 48 of 5-time champion Jimmy Johnson for position. That would be for the 4th spot. How did Montoya get there? They took the setup off his teammate's car, Damon McMurray. That allowed him to qualify 10th and now battle in the top 5.
We told you before the race, Clinton Boyer could make the chase, but he needs to win this race and then get some help by finishing ahead of Denny Hamlin in the points. So far, Boyer's been in an accident, fallen all the way back to 38, and has now fought his way back inside the top 10, and the car is really good. Good things to come, baby, for Boyer, Nicole.
Well, it's interesting to watch the points as they run right now because Hamlin, also in an accident earlier, is running in 18th. But as they run, it is Boyer who is trailing Hamlin in the points. Kevin Harvick is your leader at Richmond.
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Richmond tonight in the wonderful Pistachios 400. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. Just about at the 1/4 mark of tonight's race, Kevin Harvick, one of 4 different drivers that have traded the lead in this one. David Ruderman started on the pole. It was McMurray, then Jimmy Johnson, then Matt Kenseth, and now Kevin Harvick out in front. And you can see Kevin's put a pretty good gap on second place, Carl Edwards. Harvick has just overtaken Dale Earnhardt Jr. and put him a lap down. Jr. came off pit road on that last stop in 9th position, Jamie. He's running 28th.
Yes, he is. After multiple pit stops to fix the damage early, they're hanging in there, Alan. They are worried about their tires. They kept putting new sets of tires on for the last stop on lap 57. They did fuel only and made a wedge adjustment. They are concerned right now. They broke an axle. Dale Jr. right now in 28th position. He would be the lucky dog. You see how loose he is there. And as of now, he slipped 1 position to 10th and final spot in the locked-in chase driver. So Dale Jr. still having to drive his way into the chase if he makes it this year.
You might be saying it's driving like it has a broken axle, but I can promise you it does not have a broken axle. He couldn't go like he's going now.
Side by side, 8th position, David Reagan in the 6th, trying to get that spot away from Kurt Busch in the 22. Reagan, the Daytona winner on Independence Weekend.
One of those drivers that stayed out also now starting to move back forward. Another one of those drivers in the scenario that if he could get that second victory, might get him into the top 20 and put himself in the chase here.
But he's got to swing for the fences. A.J. Allmendinger trying to grab a spot here, racing with the pole sitter David Ruderman. Allmendinger in the 43. Needs to win to have a shot to get in.
Yeah, not looking too good right now. Cars look awfully loose, as you can see him battling there with Ruderman on the inside. Mark Martin just looking for somewhere to go.
And also coming into the picture there will be one Denny Hamlin, who has come back from a lap down. As second place changes hands, Juan Pablo Montoya moving forward in that 42.
These three cars really been battling it out for that position.
Got to be impressed with this 42 car. Yesterday, after the practice sessions on Friday, he said, we're not very good at all. And you heard the update. They put a setup in there that was collaborated on with their teammates, Jamie McMurray's outfit. And boy, Montoya's getting around here pretty well.
And Jeff Burton there on the inside of Kurt Busch, having a good solid night so far.
Burton's tires are a little bit better.
Sorry, Andy, that's for 9th and 10th. One of those guys with nothing to lose you talked about earlier tonight, Jeff Burton. As Carl Edwards now maybe showing the effects of just having changed just the right side tires on that pit stop a little bit ago.
Yeah, probably some good information for them if the scenario and situation could come up later in the race. How did it affect their car? Could they do something like that again for a shorter run?
Yeah, it looks like it's holding up pretty good too. It's not bad, so it's not a bad option at the end of the race.
How many laps are left, and what do you need for track position? So that's 3rd and 4th, Johnson and Edwards. Behind that man, Kevin Harvick out in front, seeking another win. Kevin's won 3 races this year, led only 9 laps in them. He's already led a lot more than that tonight. This week on Sunday Night Baseball, we remember September 11th, 10 years later, at 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Baseball Tonight will have live coverage of the pregame ceremony from Citi Field, where many of New York's finest responders and their families will be honored. Then it's the Cubs versus the Mets on Sunday Night Baseball, 8 Eastern on ESPN. Beautiful night for a race here in Richmond. A beautiful performance so far for Kevin Harvick. Not so beautiful a race car for Marcos Ambrose in the 9, who's about to be put a second lap down. Beaten up in an earlier wreck.
Beaten up, but not giving up.
See right there where Kevin Harvick's car is so good versus other cars, just able to get off the brake and roll extremely fast through the corner, which allows him to carry more speed there and then shoots off the corner. So really solid car.
Juan Pablo Montoya behind the wheel of this 42 car, up from 10th starting spot, running second, trying to close in on the leader, getting information from the spotter on the roof and the crew chief on the pit box.
40 to his 60. Dude, you are hauling. I want you to save the brakes. We got 300 laps to go.
Copy that. Nice and smooth entering. You're fine, dude.
Caution flag out, got a car up against the wall off turn number 2.
Looks like Mike Bliss, right front down.
Behind the 42, here's a big gap. We go behind the 48 right here. Come down, come down, come down.
Contact earlier with another car could have been part of the problem of pushing that right front fender in on the tire.
And so the yellow out for the 6th time in this race. And there's a lot of damage on that 32 car.
Yeah, and there's a lot of drivers that are glad to see that, and they weren't the cause of the caution. See right there when the tire lets go. Oh, that's a safer barrier, but that's still a hard lick.
Kyle Busch got caught a lap down after he had to pit under green. Looks like he might get this lucky dog this time.
Dale Jr. be glad to see this, even though he's a lap down. He needs to do some serious work to that car. He was doing everything but wrecking.
Pit stops for the leaders. Jimmy Johnson, Vince.
Jimmy Johnson feeling pretty good about his race car, but it's tightening up just a bit, so they're going to make a chassis adjustment. You see them there on the upper left of the screen, along with 4 tires. The 33 of Clint Boyer working on the air conditioning in the car. It's not working, and boy, it's hot down here. He needs it. He also needs some rear grip, Doc.
Bottom of the screen, you rarely hear Juan Pablo Montoya say this. Guys, the car's perfect. Don't touch a thing. Dave Burns.
Smooth stop so far for leader Kevin Harvick. A 4-tire change. Remember we reported how he was loose when he got back out front, so they reversed that air pressure adjustment. And Harvick, as you see now crossing the line, he will lead the group off of pit road.
Nice job by Team 29. Back for the restart after this message and a word from our ABC stations. In the early going, Kyle Busch, free pass under this last caution, has come back from a lap down, and he's back in contention in 28th place. Here we go. Montoya to the outside of Harvick for the restart.
Got Clint Boyer right on his bumper. Remember last week they didn't play very nice. Very wide.
Wow. Jimmy Johnson slowed just enough there to get his car under control, not to be in the middle of a 3-wide situation.
Just me, or is it just kind of hairy on these restarts?
It's just crazy, yeah. It's just wild all the time. That's these restarts. That's why these drivers that are battling for these chase spots just like things to settle down, get smoothed out a little bit. Tony Stewart being one of those. He had a good pit stop this last time, so he's in a little bit better position, but you still never know, Andy.
That's right. You got Edwards right here. He was on 2 tires the last cycle that we had. Now he's got 4. It's like his car's really strong.
Yeah, Jeff Burton there in the 31. Really solid night for him. He needs this. Loves to race at this racetrack. Former winner here.
Getting a spot there from Jimmy Johnson. That'll be 5th position. Jeff Burton from South Boston, Virginia, this Richmond racetrack, one of the places that would mean so much to him to win at.
Yeah, and that gives us 3 Childress cars in the top 5, so very strong. We've been talking about how they've been off their game here some lately, but they really seem to be stepping it up. Dave?
And DJ talked with Luke Lambert, the crew chief on that 31 this morning. He told me he really thought they had a shot at the pole. They qualified 6th, but we're very happy with that, and we're just as happy in the race trim. He also said this is a good track for Jeff, so not surprising to be running as well as he is right now.
You talk to Jeff Burton, he'd say 6th is like a pole for him. He's never has considered himself one of the great qualifiers. You see Jeff Gordon and David Reagan battling for a spot here.
Now Jeff Gordon was expected to contend as they're 3 wide behind them. I'll hold that thought. McMurray sliding a little wide in the 1. Ryan Newman going through in the 39. And Greg Biffle trying to hunt a lane in there as well. Bump, bang, crunch. It's Greg Biffle there in the 16. And Tony Stewart in that picture in the 14. Here's 3rd place, Carl Edwards through Clint Boyer. 99 car moving back up.
He had the best car last night in the Nationwide race, came up 2nd. But able to beat Kyle Busch at the end.
Riding with Tony Stewart here. And I just, talking about Stewart and Junior and where they are in relation to trying to lock in a place in the chase. Really, the key to the night is where they are in relation to Brad Keselowski. And right now, Keselowski's running 21st.
He's helping both of those guys out in 9th and 10th, Tony Stewart and Dale Jr. So you can see Tony here. I've been watching him on these restarts. He's really tried to get himself in what he considers kind of a safe place, a little bit of room right in front, but knowing who's behind him and trying to get a little room there. Right now, he's got Mark Martin behind him, and I think he feels pretty good that Mark's one that really pays attention, doesn't just drive over the end of his hood, and so I think he probably feels pretty safe in that respect.
As safe as you can feel in a race car on a short track at 100-something miles an hour. So there is the front of the field cycling through. You saw Kevin Harvick as the race leader. He's out in front of Juan Pablo Montoya by 9/10 of a second. And there, top of the screen, as they run now, the chase standings with Stewart and Earnhardt Jr. in a locked-in position for the moment as they run. A lot of racing still to go. Brian Vickers is back on the racetrack. Remember, after being involved in the accident with Marcos Ambrose, who turned Vickers into Casey Kane earlier in the race, Vickers pulled up on the racetrack in front of Ambrose afterwards and was sent to the garage after repairs on his car. He has been allowed back on the racetrack. Looking here, Brian Vickers 68 laps down in 36th position.
Yeah, kind of like being back in school in timeout, being put in timeout. You didn't have to put anything up on the chalkboard or anything, but had to sit and collect his thoughts.
Had a peek at Kyle Busch trying to work his way through the traffic now that he's back on the lead lap. Here's Greg Biffle racing with A.J. Allmendinger, 16 and 43 respectively. couple of the many star-spangled paint schemes that sponsors and teams of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series have brought out for this weekend.
Tony Stewart there, kind of some things that we saw in practice yesterday. His car wasn't the fastest as he put fresh tires, low air pressure on. But after he got 10, 12, 15 laps on his car, it seemed to really come to life. And in that, not slowing down as much as a lot of other cars as they got laps on their tires. And we're kind of seeing that right now. And I think that Tony's just got himself in a good spot here and trying to accumulate some laps and let the race get towards the latter stages.
After the first quarter plus of the race, all of the various scenarios and bumps and bangs that some of the guys that are trying to lock in a place in the chase have been in. For now, the picture hasn't changed. Stewart, Jr., Keselowski, and Hamlin hold those spots for the moment. Kevin Harvick is the leader at the Richmond International Raceway. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, 141 laps into tonight's 400-lapper. Well, it's been pretty eventful so far, though has that look of kind of a long green flag run settling in that we sometimes see early in these races at Richmond. There's the gap from Harvick to Carl. Carl Edwards running in second, and you look back through the top 10 runners at this point in the race. Got some 28 cars on the lead lap right now. We've been through already 6 caution flags, and they're not even halfway through the race.
Finally did settle down for a little bit here, though. Like we couldn't hardly get going.
Carl Edwards 1.6 seconds behind Kevin Harvick, and they're running pretty similar lap times for the last few circuits around. This is 10th place back with Jeff Burton trying to hold off Jamie McMurray in the 1 car.
Yeah, we were talking about Burton while they go moving forward. Now he's starting to slip back a little bit. Kurt Busch has passed him to take the 9th spot. Now Jamie McMurray trying to push him outside the top 10.
How about an update on the 31 car, Dave?
Yeah, just when we started thinking this was going to be a great night for him, he just radioed in a few laps ago. The front end and the rear end are not working on this race car right now. It is looser in the turns, and that's the main thing that's allowing McMurray and others to get by him.
So looser in the turns, the back end of the car sliding around and not giving him the grip that he's looking for.
Yeah, and probably what helped him go forward there after that restart was just the grip of the new tire. Allowed him to do that with his car, but as you get some laps, the car gets looser and looser then.
Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch here. These 3 drivers racing for 16th, 17th, and 18th. Matt Kenseth stayed out on the track, led the race for a little while earlier. Some pit strategy on his team. Kyle Busch had a flat tire under the green at lap 69, went from 7th to 33rd, a lap down, got the free pass at the last caution. And where do we start with Denny Hamlin? Involved in one of the early crashes at lap 8, damage, got a lap down, got it back, had a flat tire. I mean, just all kind of things for the 11, and here they are on the lead lap.
Yeah, and don't think for a minute that this 18 car won't be a part of the scenario at the end of this race. He's been very fast. I watched him come up through this. He had to start at the tail end of the field here. He's really making his way forward.
Kyle Busch having won 3 of the last 5 races here at Richmond. Matt Kenseth, an update there, Vince.
Well, for Matt Kenseth fans, it may be a little bit unusual seeing him in a yellow car. Normally he carries that purple paint scheme, a little different this week. He says it's loose in, tight across the middle, and loose off. His crew chief, Jimmy Fennick, said, if we're not winning, we're jumped. Well, they're not winning right now, but I wouldn't call them jumped, Dave.
Vince Allen mentioned the comeback for Denny Hamlin. After that lap 8 wreck, there were 3 more fairly quick cautions, at which time they worked on this race car. The biggest problem for Mike Ford and the crew was to get the splinter off of the track for Denny. It was causing tremendous trouble. They got that right, and then the latest trouble has just been a loose race car. It's that way now. They adjusted Ford at the last pit stop, but they didn't make big headway. But he's going forward, and then the last run, Allen, he went from 31st to 17th, passes a lot of cars.
At 1 point per position, those add up in NASCAR's new for 2011 scoring system. So Hamlin there up to 17th spot, Kenseth back to 18th. As we take an inside look at what's happening in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, brought to you by Sprint. Denny Hamlin's done an awful lot of leading at this racetrack in recent years.
Well, got a caution over in turn 2, the 38 car. Some contact with the 88.
Kevin Harvick leading the most laps so far tonight. The caution flag is out. And get closer to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series with unlimited access to highlights, news, and more. Learn more at sprint.com/speed.
Dale Jr. needed that caution.
That's Travis Quapple.
Jr. had the leader bearing down on him to put him down 2 laps.
Travis Quapple was running in 29th position at the time of his trouble over in turn number 2.
Yeah, he'd been battling the 88 car, trying to get by him, and had just got by him entering turn 1, and there was some more contact. Don't know if there'd been contact a little before that, but I know there was contact down the middle of 1 and 2.
Well, let's see. Ooh, that's at the start-finish line. So I'm feeling payback.
Well, let's see.
That Junior took exception to that.
Yeah, what do you think? Looks like payback to me. You see Harvick right there behind Dale Earnhardt Jr.
So that'll be point, counterpoint.
As I said earlier, sometimes you just have to handle these things yourself. Junior decided to do that, it looked like.
I don't imagine getting bumped into halfway down the front stretch would make you happy. But
no, that's not something that you normally get. You have to expect if you're going to do that, then you have to be ready to get hit at some point in time.
The only problem is Dale Earnhardt Jr. doesn't need any enemies out here tonight.
That's true.
He's on a mission.
That's true. Because if that's not over yet,
yeah, it could be trouble for him.
Cost him a whole lot more. See the red flag waving and the red lights flashing there. Pit road is still closed. And so we'll wait to see the round of pit stops. So NASCAR had said there'll be no free pass under this caution. So
looks like Junior would have been,
but he was involved in the incident, and they have been hesitant to allow someone to benefit from a caution that he's involved in. And the pit crew is getting ready to go to work. AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award. Kevin Harvick's team currently leading. You can help determine the standings. Vote from your AT&T phone by texting the car number to 234-567 for the pit crew you think is the fastest and most valuable. I explained that right. They don't want somebody that's involved in bringing out the caution to benefit from the caution. Pit stops. Vince?
Clint Boyer, 2 loose, in and off. They're going to make a track bar adjustment, raising it up 1 round on the right side, and an air pressure adjustment in the left rear. Doc?
Montoya tight in the middle, air out of the left rear. Dave?
Peter Harvick, not as tight in the center as last time. A little more air pressure help for tires. 99 car of Carl Edwards, second place runner. They will get 4 this time. It looks like Greg Biffle played some strategy there. He'll win the race off of pit road.
Absolutely, Dave. Right sides only for Biffle on the pit stop. Up 13 positions. He'll try and hold some of that track position when we go back racing in just a minute. Monday Night Football returns to ESPN this Monday with 2 games between division rivals. 7 Eastern, it's Tom Brady and the Patriots beginning their season in Miami, where they'll face Brandon Marshall and the Dolphins. Then at 10:15 Eastern, it's Darren McFadden and the Raiders against Kyle Orton and the Broncos. Monday Night Football on ESPN, 2 days away.
Yeah, since we have to work most Sundays, I think they ought to have 2 football games every Monday night. Guess you'll be watching that Patriots game, will you?
I would figure I'll be a good fixture in front of the TV for that one. Get set to go back racing tonight in what's been a pretty eventful night so far here in Richmond. As we get set for the restart, Marcus Ambrose took the wave around. Paul Menard got a penalty for removing equipment from his pit box, drops him to the tail end of the line, and Greg Biffle right sides only on his pit stop, and that's 16. and a big slide off of 2 there. Biff had it kind of hung out.
Yeah, I haven't seen Biffle's car handle all that well. I always get a little concerned putting 2 tires on a car that's not handling great, but so far it's working okay.
Looks like it takes a while for, that 2-tire strategy to not work very well. It seems like the 2 tires work good for a few laps.
You can see Harvick and Edwards doing a really nice job there, giving each other a little bit of room. Harvick's car is really strong up off the corner.
And for the lead, here he comes.
Trouble on the front stretch, 51 car spins.
That's Landon Castle. And the caution flag is out.
Stay off the grass, nothing flat. Dang it, did I just lose it there?
Landon Castle running 24th at the time, went for a spin. Well, he couldn't benefit from it last time. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the first car not on the lead lap this time. And we'll wait for the official word from NASCAR to see if he gets that free pass.
Yeah, look the front end of that car. You can't say he hadn't been trying hard here tonight.
Yeah, no kid. They need to work on it a little bit, though. Little contact there. Regan Smith has a pretty good save.
Wow. Whoa. Good driving there by Regan Smith.
Just barely quarter. Clear.
That was kind of like a few different things all happening at the same time off the same corner separately. 8th caution is out. Dale Earnhardt Jr. does get the free pass. Back on the lead lap. He's in 29th place. Beautiful sight. Richmond International Raceway on a warm September Saturday night with the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series playing before a big crowd.
Just getting warmed up.
And they have been putting on a show so far.
Yes, the fans are not getting cheated anything here tonight. It has been exciting.
Greg Biffle with just right side tires on the last pit stop took the lead. He's given it up to Kevin Harvick. But, Doc, what are they thinking about the track position game?
Let's ask the crew chief, Matt Pusha, who made the call. Matt, you made the call for 2 tires. Why?
The car's not too bad right now. The biggest thing is just need a track position here. It worked pretty good for those guys earlier on, 2 tires. So figured we get a shot now and see how it works. So if we can maybe use it later on tonight and see if it works out then.
All right, Matt making the call. And by the way, if Biffle could win it, there's still an outside slim but outside chance for him to make the chase, AB.
Yep, one of those guys, nothing to lose.
Got to throw everything you can at it and hope that it works out.
Scenario as they run on the racetrack right now. Tony Stewart to the good. Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the good. Denny Hamlin, Clint Boyer tight, but for that to do Boyer any good at all, he's got to win the race.
He's trying.
Yes,
got a good car, too.
Bouncing back nicely after being involved in an early wreck.
We got to undo everything we've done to this thing because we ain't done nothing but killed it. I mean, hell, I can remember at some point in this race we could actually run with some of these guys.
Thoughts of Dale Jr. as they go 3 deep down into turn 1 on the restart.
Oh, look at Edwards loose off of 2.
These guys are acting like this is Talladega. Easy to go 3 wide into the corners.
I'll go right back to Andy's words at the start of our telecast tonight. A nothing to lose night. So Harvick gets clear on the restart. Edwards settles to second. Boyer's up to third. Side by side for fourth. Johnson 48. Biffle 16. And a guy whose number we haven't called a lot tonight, Jeff Gordon in that 24, getting closer and closer to the front.
There they are, 3 wide again.
Man, I'm telling you, big time through. They're still racing 3 wide.
That's going to get tight. Wow.
Oh, Montoya did a nice job right there.
He really did, because he was right in the middle of that. He didn't have a lot of room for error.
David Reagan in the 6th. At one of his better racetracks. If you got to go someplace and have a win and a shot to get in night. Oh, trouble, turn 1. Back of the pack. Regan Smith and Paul Menard. Smith was actually the secondary incident. There was contact in the pack that sent Menard pretty hard into the outside wall at the right front of that 27 car. And yellow flag number 9 is waving.
Looks like this will end Paul Menard's slim hopes of getting in the chase.
Yeah. His only chance was to win the race.
Yeah, he's going to have to work on this car in the garage for a little while. Whoa, man, he's a pretty hard lick right there.
Yeah, that happened entering the corner. Like one of those situations, they're almost 3 wide again. You can see.
Like almost two separate incidents.
Yeah, it's like something was on the racetrack almost down there as they entered the corner. You can see Regan Smith really loose, but that's a part of the corner that it's very easy to get loose as hard as you drive in, get on the brakes.
It would be just a theory, but Matt Kenseth was one of the only guys that stopped under that last caution and got fresh tires. He got a pretty bad piece of that too.
Yeah, work done on the 17 car.
Yeah. So a little yellow fever tonight. Trivia: how many cautions in this race last September? 4. 3. We're up to 9 so far tonight. We're not even halfway.
Under our 9th caution here today at Richmond. If you're just joining us, it's been a busy one. It's starting off very early on with the 9/11 tribute. Of course, it was 10 years ago this weekend. And between laps 9 and 11 tonight, silence on the track. But it's also been very busy with a lot of points implications.
Oh, it really has. Right off the back, Clint Boyer spins. Look at her. Dale Jr. gets in the side of Brad and really tears the front of that 88 car up. And right now, he's hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, he is. Both of these guys right out of the box got into a lot of trouble, tore up the race cars, and had to start working on them immediately. Denny Hamlin as well had to go all the way back on a lap down, but it's fought back, got his lap back.
Temper. That's Brian Vickers and Marcus Ambrose getting into it once, getting into it twice.
Yeah, that's a big no-no right there.
And what is this? Dale Earnhardt Jr. and a little retaliation with Travis
He and
Kvapil?
Travis Kvapil going at it a little bit here, and Junior turns Kvapil around, sticks him in the fence. I don't know if that's over with yet, but it's not good. He doesn't need to be having these issues with people at this point in time.
Right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs 29th. We also want to talk about Tony Stewart and Denny Hamlin. Tony Stewart is running in 13th, and Denny Hamlin, after those early issues, are in 16th. But thoughts on Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
Yeah,
I know you're both shaking your heads.
I'm really concerned about him. He's basically hanging on for dear life right now, Brad.
Yep.
His points are starting to dwindle. Look, he might make it. He might hold on, but it's not looking good right now.
He is really struggling right now, and you've heard his comments. He's not happy with his race car. Tony Stewart, Denny Hamlin, both those guys snug as a bug in the rug right now, going to the chase.
And getting ready to go back. Green flag racing, 177 laps complete here. AB, it's all you.
It's been eventful, hasn't it? Green flag, Kevin Harvick and Carl Edwards side by side. Harvick in the black 29. And they go 3 deep behind him, Montoya.
Getting pretty good at it.
Yeah, they are getting better. Kurt Busch looked like he was shot out of a cannon in that 22 car off of turn 2.
We have seen some aggression. Kind of hold your breath moments there on those restarts.
Yeah, Tony Stewart back there in the middle of this and saying, boys, can't you just be calm for a little bit?
That's Tony in 13th place. I want to mention Marcos Ambrose. Got down 2 laps earlier, took a waiver out on a previous caution, got the free pass on that caution. The 9 cars back on the lead lap. He's in 28th place. Greg Biffle sliding back a little bit.
Yeah, I think these restarts are where it really hurts, and the more laps you get on here, and these cars with the fresher tires, you can see the 16 car Biffle just falling back now. Watching A.J. Allmendinger in the 43 right beside Jamie McMurray. Allmendinger's going, he is sliding this car through the corner. He's settled in behind Jamie right now, but the car looks extremely loose.
So Brad Keselowski working underneath Kyle Busch.
Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, 24-22. Fifth place there with Juan Pablo Montoya trying to dig back up toward the front. And a pretty good race for third. Jimmy Johnson in that 48, leaving that inside lane open, and Clint Boyer's been trying to find a way to fill it. Got a good run this time.
I don't know if it's the set of tires or adjustments, but we haven't seen Jimmy utilize this second groove much, but just hadn't seen him be able to keep the car down quite as good on this run.
What a drive for Boyer.
Yeah, that first wreck he was in, I thought he was done.
Ooh, sideways there for Jimmy. Kind of looked like the end of the Atlanta race last week for a minute.
Here comes Kurt Busch now. Well, watch that last run. He was one of the fastest cars during that run, especially after they put some laps on the tires. I expected him to come up to the front once they do put some laps on this run, and so was Jeff Gordon.
Let's get an update on Jimmy Johnson. Sliding back a little bit.
Well, he's trying to, Alan, but he says the car is loose in and loose off, and that's been the first time all night that they really felt like that's been a handling issue that's detrimental to him, and he gets caught in the back end and into the wall.
Johnson in trouble. Montoya also goes around. Caution number 10.
Two more, you can start the roll. You can. Clear. Again, fellas.
They're having a good race right there. I don't know if Kurt just made a mistake.
Yeah, it looked like the 48 of Johnson had given the 22 plenty of room to race down the bottom side, but could have been a situation that Kurt just got loose getting into the corner too and couldn't turn the wheel. Montoya spun just trying to avoid that.
Not bad at all. Reach forward.
Yeah,
he locked it
the
up.
brakes. Yeah, his car was loose getting down in there. He tried to drive it in and just locked up the front tires. That just slid up into the 48.
And you saw Montoya there in the aftermath.
Yeah, it looks like that Kurt just charged the corner a little bit too hard, locked the front wheels up, and shot the front end straight up into Jimmy.
Right along with Kurt Busch down into turn one. As soon as you get on the brakes that hard, you lock them up, the car just goes straight.
Close call for Jeff Gordon there, missing that. Pit stops for some, Dave.
Denny Hamlin will make a pit stop right now, continually improving this 11 car. Very quick, just fixing the little tight in the center, little loose condition that remains for this car after a major fix. Doc?
42 car getting some repair down. He was involved in the incident. They're trying to get the right front fender pulled away from Juan Pablo Montoya after having such a good run tonight. A little bit frustrated. You see the Jimmy Johnson car, the damage on the rear of that car pulling away. That was the contact right front of the 42, left rear of the 48.
Andy, what do you see there?
Yeah, the spoiler's been up, so is that left rear quarter. That's not going to help.
So, some damage there for Johnson and company and Chad Knaus to figure out how to get square. Matt Kenseth in for some service. His car beaten up. Been involved in some of the contact tonight.
Say that about a lot of these guys.
I know it.
It's been a rough night.
I think there's anything really wrong with it.
We have seen a few different times of Jimmy Johnson and Kurt Busch having contact on the racetrack. And this is just the latest of them tonight. Racing at Pocono back on the first weekend of August, and it got kind of a little ugly.
Yeah, very last lap of the race as they were racing for, I believe it was the third spot. Coming to get the checkered flag. Words afterwards, as drivers would do. They had two different views of that,
and essentially, yeah, they agreed to disagree.
Yes, like they do here too.
So that was a race for fourth position, with Jimmy Johnson ending up in the wall and Juan Pablo Montoya ending up with a pretty good right front wrinkle on the 42 car as well.
And here we go, double file again.
Try for number 11. We're not halfway yet. We're 10 laps from halfway, and we've had 10 caution flags in this race. Oh, goodness.
David Reagan there in the 6th didn't get a very good start up on the top side, Jeff Gordon. See if he can recover from that and get a few of those spots back.
If you like your racing with contact, you have come to the right place tonight. Kevin Harvick clears Carl Edwards, grabs the lead. Kurt Busch looking to defend third from Clint Boyer with Jeff Gordon right behind Boyer. That's Gordon in the 24. Jimmy Johnson back to 25th, by the way. Montoya back to 29th after their pit stops for repairs.
All of these cars are just so close.
Whoa, hang on.
Man, look at that. They're just so close in speed, they can't get away from each other. They're all on top of each other. You got to take any little opening you can find.
Figuring that with all that's happened in the race so far, the boiling point, and here we go 3 wide again, the boiling point inside those helmets is probably right there.
And everybody's been in something. Yeah, some part of it tonight. So, and these drivers know going in here there's going to be some contact, but it's like a lot of drivers just right on edge and trying to make a lot happen.
Boy, here we go.
It'll be 3 wide again right here, entering 1. Ambrose trying to give a lot of room, not where he wants to be.
He says, the heck with that.
Wow. And that's all the way back for 21st position.
They're racing hard for every spot here tonight. You know? There's a lot on the line. And
front 4 single file, double wide for 5th. Ryan Newman. Haven't called that 39 number yet tonight.
Yeah, but most of the time on a short track, at some point in time, we get to calling Ryan Newman's name. He really does a great job on these short tracks. See him having a hard time getting by the 24, but 24, as Andy said, was one of the fastest cars on the track just a couple of runs ago. Jamie?
Well, he is, and after coming off that thrilling victory on Tuesday, they've been working on this car tonight, making it better until the last stop.
Whatever we've done, we've killed it. I'm just dead side was getting in, dead side was getting off, and still tight in the center.
And that would explain why he lost some speed. Now the problem is, last caution flag, Alan Gustafson, crew chief, wanted him to come down pit road. There was no communication. Jeff stayed out, and they are not happy. Car isn't good, guys.
All right, so Gordon trying to hang on. He's in 8th position right now. Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards up front as we close in on halfway back to Richmond after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Reese Davis with you in the studio, keeping your finger on the primetime pulse. On ESPN, Michigan's running out the clock in the first half. Notre Dame up 17-7, first night game at the Big House. On ESPN2, BYU continues to lead homestanding Texas. They have now moved to the 4th quarter. The Longhorns have rotated 3 quarterbacks throughout the game, Alan. Wow, Reese, thanks. Some interesting college football action this afternoon as well. And pretty wild night of NASCAR racing tonight here in Richmond. New leader as we come back just past the halfway point of tonight's event. It is Carl Edwards who is out in front, having taken the lead from Kevin Harvick just a couple of laps ago. Our mid-race race summary, it is Carl out in front. Kevin Harvick has done most of the leading tonight, though Jimmy Johnson and Jamie McMurray have been out in front for significant chunks, and perhaps the biggest number on the night, that one next to the word cautions. 10 of them in the first couple hundred laps of this race. Been a little frisky, to say the least. So, Carl Edwards taking the lead at lap 202 from Kevin Harvick. Here's how it unfolded.
See, Harvick had been running right on the bottom for most of the race. Seems this run, his car is not quite good enough to keep it down there. Carl Edwards takes advantage, takes the lead down into 1.
We saw Carl Edwards' team go with right sides only on one of the earlier stops and got some track position, making the most of it right now, Dave.
They sure are, Alan. Talked to crew chief Bob Osborne about what they're doing here at Richmond, already locked into the chase, and this track not in the chase at all. He said, you know what, we're really working on our Richmond stuff. We came here with a brand new setup, something we haven't tried before, just to see if we can fix the problem everybody fights, even us. Loose in, tight in the middle, tight off the corner. So far, it's really proven to work. He said, we ought to work on our stuff because the only time we've been really good here was the very first time Carl raced here. They've really worked on it and fixed it tonight, Alan.
Looking good so far, Dave, for Carl, but a lot of racing still to go. On the move, Brad Keselowski restarted 19th. There's the scoring serial on him. It's up to 4th.
Yeah, and that's bad news for Dale Jr. He's going forward.
Remember that Brad came into the race with a spot in the chase clinched, at least a wild card based on number of wins. But if somehow he overtakes Dale Jr. or Tony Stewart on points, the 1,001 scenarios of who might get in will really come to play. What are they saying about the 2-car, Jamie?
Well, Alan, I talked to Paul Wolf, his crew chief, this morning, and he said short tracks have not been their forte. They have been their weak link. So because they're locked in like Carl Edwards, they're bringing a totally different setup, trying something out of the box. Well, he hasn't been happy. But that last caution, they decided to bring him down, put 4 tires on, make just an air pressure adjustment. He is up 15 spots.
Hottest driver in the sport, still on a roll.
Yeah, and that may show us some strategy to be played out later in this race, how much effect new tires are having.
His Penske teammate Kurt Busch running just ahead of him in 3rd, Doc.
Yeah, and in spite of qualifying 11th this morning, Kurt Busch and crew chief Steve Addington talked, said, you know, we don't have a car that can compete tonight. We may not even run in the top 10. They said, you know, let's take a chance. They said, okay, Steve Addington opened up his notebook and went back to the spring of 2009 when he was the crew chief for Kyle Busch, Kurt's younger brother. They took that setup from 09 and put it under the Dodge that Kurt's driving tonight. Now remember, that setup had not been on the car for a single lap. We're going to roll the dice, and guess what? Working pretty well. Younger brother setup working for older brother so far tonight.
Couple of Penske Dodges running 3rd and 4th behind the Chevy of Kevin Harvick and the Ford of Carl Edwards. 186 still laps to go here in Richmond. A long way yet tonight. Tomorrow morning's ESPN2 lineup just got better. Outside the Lines at 10 a.m. Eastern, followed by ESPN Sports Reporters, then Sports Center and Fantasy Football Now. Sunday mornings on ESPN2. It is the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Richmond in the wonderful Pistachios 400. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. Pick it up with a race for 2nd. Brad Keselowski threw his teammate Kurt Busch into 3rd, trying to go through Kevin Harvick to the runner-up spot.
He's got 30-lap pressure tires. He's making good use of them right now.
Well, that was a great call that they made to bring him in the last time, make some adjustments, get 4 new tires on it. It'll put Brad in a great spot, whether the caution comes out or whatever they have to do. This is what this team's been doing, Andy. They've got good cars, and they make the right calls, too.
They have been executing so well. I mean, Brad even said they haven't had the fastest car a lot of these races, but they have executed so well that it's put them in victory lane a few times and getting them great finishes. And right now they're doing that.
And he is flirting with moving into the top 10 in the championship, which if Brad cracks the top 10 in points, really changes the whole wild card picture around. A lot of racing still to go, though.
It's putting a lot of pressure on that 88 team right now, though. They're seeing that on their monitors, too.
Here's 3rd place. Kurt Busch trying to get through Harvick. Well, if you're Steve Addington and you're looking to do something for your race car, you take a page out of that setup book from when you ran with Kyle Busch. Had a lot of success here running together.
Yeah, that would be a setup that I would certainly look at a number of times. Kurt's making it work for him right now as he takes that 3rd spot from Harvick.
And you know, when he was the crew chief for Kyle Busch, he had access to Denny Hamlin's records, too. So
see coming in this picture, Greg Biffle, who came in and got tires that last time. We saw him stay out on 2, but these 4 tires are working a lot better for his race car right now.
And again, Biff, one of the guys that pitted under the lap 187 caution, passing some of the guys who haven't pitted since lap 156. Let's go up to speed, starting with the Biff and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you, Alan. Biffle very hungry, now taking 4th place away from Kevin Harvick. It's been almost a year and 32 races since Greg Biffle has been to victory lane in Kansas. He said, you know, we're going to do whatever it takes just to get a win, to get our mojo back. And that call that Matt Fuchsia made about 40 laps ago to take 2 tires and get him track position may have put mojo back in Greg Biffle's Ford. Dave.
Oh, going the wrong way for Kevin Harvick right now. He is back to the 5th position. He was the restart leader. That car is not turning in the middle. It is hard to control off the corner. Kevin's not satisfied with that right now. Vince?
Clint Boyer in that 33 car. A lot of uncertainty surrounding Boyer in this 33 team. He and team owner Richard Childress have both discussed their relationship in the past tense. Crew chief Shane Wilson says it's been a bummer for the crew not knowing their future. Tonight they got crashed early, but they fought back. But right now it's a handful for Boyer. Loose for Clint. The 6 car of David Reagan. It's just too tight right now. But remember, Reagan is still in the hunt for the chase spot, but he must win tonight to have a chance. Currently he's 20th in points, but he must win tonight to have a chance at the chase. Dave?
31 car of Jeff Burton. Remember, he started 6th tonight, has tried to stay in the top 10, running 8th right now. Alan mentioned borrowing pages. Well, they went to the 33 car, who ran very well here in the spring. The combination of Clint Boyer's setup and the one that Luke Lambert thought of for the 31, that has worked best for him tonight. Vince?
Ryan Newman, a sentimental favorite for many tonight, driving that U.S. Army car. Newman, a former winner here at Richmond. He's locked in to make his 4th appearance in the chase, hoping for a good run tonight, but they're still struggling off the corner. They're talking about making an air pressure and wedge adjustment on their next stop to get it better. Doc?
How about a comeback tonight for the 18 car of Kyle Busch, who's won 3 of the last 5 races here at Richmond International Raceway. Kyle, the issue they had was a right front tire that was wobbling and loose, made an unscheduled stop, lost a lap, got it back, had to come back, spend time on pit road, chasing the right front lug nut to make sure they would not have a loose tire again. So Kyle Busch now making his way back toward the top 5. Dave?
Denny Hamlin came down pit road that last time to put on 4 fresh tires. Main reason is he keeps getting stuck on the outside of the restarts, and that 11 car will not operate up there. 3 in a row he was out there. So they put on 4 fresh tires, and right now pretty neutral for Denny Hamlin.
So it talked about 1,001 scenarios, right? Right now, Brad Keselowski is only 2 points away from Dale Earnhardt Jr. for cracking the top 10. If Keselowski goes into the top 10 in points, that kicks Jr. out, and he doesn't have a win, so he's not eligible for a wild card. David Reagan in the 6th, left of the screen, right now is in 20th position in points and has a win. So if Keselowski gets into the top 10, Junior's out, Hamlin and Reagan would get the wild cards, but we still got a whole lot of racing to go, and that can change about 1,000 times for the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's the way I saw it.
Yeah. Carl Edwards is leading. Hang on, we're coming back.
Back at Richmond International Raceway, the final race before the chase, and the green flag pit stops have started. Clint Boyer has come in, needs more grip, 4 tires, and a chassis adjustment. Alan?
Boyer headed back out. A.J. Allmendinger coming in. On right side of the screen, Carl Edwards about to put Dale Earnhardt Jr. a lap down. Make a note of that one. Doc?
A.J. Allmendinger hoping to be able to maybe somehow get his way to the chase. The car's been very, very loose in and loose off, tight in the middle. Chassis adjustment as well as an air pressure adjustment. Trying to get the car somehow to be able to get some drive off. That's how you got to win, beat people here, drive off the corner. Here's front row starter Jamie McMurray in. Early leader, made a pit stop, running 3rd, came out of the pits running 17th. Now a chassis adjustment, track bar, air pressure, left side tires going on. Got to get it very full of Sunoco fuel. He's out of the way. Alan?
Green flag pit stops for those who did not come in under the lap 187 caution. Kind of had a split agenda under that one. These guys haven't pitted since lap 156. Carl Edwards, the race leader, one of those who had not stopped yet on that later caution. Jeff Burton, Kyle Busch, Mark Martin, all coming onto pit road for green flag stops. Doc?
18 car of Kyle Busch in. They call him in now. He will stop, and they will go to work 4 tires. They know Kyle has a good enough car here if they are going to be patient enough to get him back. Again, they're trying to tighten him up a little bit to get better drive off. Dave.
Trouble turn number 2. It is Kurt Busch who's gone around. Brought the caution flag out.
Got another car. Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, well.
Huh.
Imagine that.
Those came together again.
Would be into something here. 11th caution of the race.
I got your number. I got your number.
Well, we know what happened there now.
I think the both of you have had each other's number for a little while now. Kurt and Jimmy tangling a little bit earlier, racing for 4th position. Brought out the previous caution. Wow.
He had
sideways to get to it.
He had to work hard to get there. That took some talent.
He's 5-time champ. Oh, this will be an interesting picture.
Clear.
Not quite.
The throttle could have hung.
Agent.
So, Newton's law, an action and an equal and opposite reaction.
There it is.
If I had my high school science right.
Looks like they're moving the 48 out of the way here.
And here at the Richmond International Raceway, we work the 11th caution flag just past the midway point of tonight's race. The race that will decide which drivers get into NASCAR's chase for the Sprint Cup and which are left out. Many of the drivers competing for one of those final spots in the chase have been involved in incidents tonight. And the leader, Carl Edwards, brings the field to pit road for service. Jamie?
Brad Keselowski has been on a tear. Says the only problem right now, little free getting into 3, track bar down, 4 tire stop. Vince?
David Reagan, center of your screen. Little tight in the center, still lacking some rear grip, but they're not going to make any changes with this car, Doc.
Bottom of your screen, Craig Biffle going to get 4 tires. Also worried about the drive off here with the Biffle, saying a little bit tight in the middle. They were going to do a track bar adjustment, called it off. Dave.
Leader Carl Edwards a little bit free off. They're going to drop the track bar, drink for the driver, a tear off so he can see the front of the field, at least off of pit road, Alan.
He won't have too far to look ahead because nobody ahead of him. Carl Edwards, the leader, back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Wild, chaotic, eventful, crash-filled, payback-filled evening so far tonight here at Richmond International Raceway. Jimmy Johnson's team repairing his car after his second incident tonight with Kurt Busch. One earlier in the race where the 22 initiated the contact, and this one where the 48 initiated the contact.
Yeah, they were racing for 3rd here. Kurt Busch got down into the corner a little hard. Jimmy was giving him room, but he locked up the locked up the brakes, slid into the 48.
I personally didn't think that was intentional. I mean, it looked like just hard racing, and it's like Jimmy just took exception to it, pays him back.
No doubt what that was intentional.
I'll tell you, that took talent right there to get to his bumper and get him spun. And then Kurt Busch, what a great save.
It really was.
Look at the 22. You wouldn't have any idea he's been in any incident.
Now, a benefit for this caution flag is Johnson's teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and I'm not associating that this was involving that in any way, shape, or form, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. was the first car lap down and gets the free pass. Gets to come back around onto the lead lap. Jr. literally hanging on by his fingernails to a place in the top 10 in the championship standings for the moment. And want to tip our cap to the drive of the day so far. Stephen Light, behind the wheel of Tom Baldwin's 36 car for the first time tonight, just his 2nd career Sprint Cup race. Look at this, 13th.
Doing a fantastic job.
Might be the first restart we've had in the last hour and a half that hasn't had 3 wide into turn 1.
Hang on. Yeah, they're calmed down already, haven't they? Look at Denny Hamlin up inside the top 10. That car was torn to pieces early in this race.
Going to get 3 wide here. Montoya looking low on Newman with Denny Hamlin to the outside. Hamlin yields.
You can tell that wasn't going to be a good situation for him. Tony Stewart trying to take the spot now. Tony's just been kind of methodical about his night, not pressing the issue any more than he has to.
Denny Hamlin gets a little out of shape, getting into 3.
Yeah, and there's Stephen Light in that 36 car, trying to go forward some more.
That's 11th. Trying to take 10th for Stephen Light. He gets the Attaboy Award for the night. A little frisky back there. David Reagan trying to make something happen tonight, Vince.
He had a good run here in April, finished 4th. They rebuilt the car they ran that night to bring it back here, and they like the way things are going.
David, everything's going in our direction right now, just the way we need it to be. We got to be smart here. We got to run like we've been running all night. Nothing crazy, just be smart, bud.
And the car is good. The last pit stop, they didn't make any changes to the 6.
Good situational awareness there to give the driver. There's still a lot of racing left in this one, and circumstances are falling in their favor for the moment. Trying to get 10th place is Stephen Light from Denny Hamlin. What a great story. His young man who was an up-and-comer in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, lost his ride, has been out of the sport for a little while. I talked with him last week in Atlanta, said, well, what'd you do? He said, I went to the gym. I got in the best shape of my life. I worked every day with the goal that when I got my next opportunity, I'd be able to make the most of it. Put together the opportunity with Tom Baldwin's fledgling team. Has been working in the shop, helping on the race cars, just doing everything he can to integrate himself into this group and try and make the most of his opportunity, and boy, is he doing it tonight.
Yeah, really good to see young men like that get another opportunity. You know, sometimes in this business you don't get that second chance, but nice that he's able to. You see, Kurt Busch is 22. Been an exciting night, but here he is battling David Reagan.
So with that save, he didn't really even lose any spots. Got the caution he needed to get tired. Really wasn't that bad a deal for him.
No.
Our wonderful Pistachio telemetry. 147 miles an hour into the corner.
Yeah, it's a short track, but you carry some speed.
And the low end of that just barely got below 100.
You can see the back straightaway is nowhere near as fast as the front, because you've got how it opens up and you've got that D-shaped front straightaway. It carries more speed.
While we watch this, just want to quickly mention that 10 cars took the wave around before that last restart. 4 of them got back on the lead lap. Clint Boyer, Jeff Burton, Kyle Busch, and Mark Martin. Guys that had made green flag pit stops just before the caution came out.
And with this wave around rule, that doesn't make that such a penalty when the caution comes out in the middle of the pit cycles, because you can stay out, take the wave around, and you just basically lose the track position.
And those drivers now running pretty deep in the field. Jeff Burton, the highest running of them, back in 20th position. Carl Edwards leading. He's been the dominant driver in this middle section of the race. Up on his Roush Fenway teammate Greg Biffle by a second and a half.
This September, things are going to heat up in the city of Miami. Charlie's got 3 new angels, and they're taking down the criminals who are above the law. From executive producer Drew Barrymore, ABC's Charlie's Angels, all new Thursday this fall on ABC. 271 laps complete here at Richmond International Raceway. Carl Edwards is your leader. Greg Biffle is second, and Brad Keselowski is running third. All kinds of bubble scenarios and chase implications playing out tonight, much in part Jamie Little, because of where that 2 is running.
Well, they've suddenly come alive, Nicole. They just made the right stops. I talked to Roger Penske, the owner of this car, today, and he couldn't be more thrilled. He was standing there watching the crew work on this too, and I said, what made you believe in Paul Wolfe as a crew chief? He didn't have any experience at this level. He said, when I brought him in, I told him if they had them up. 1 year later, here they are, Nicole, and they have made all the right moves tonight.
Well, and one of the cars and drivers rooting for that 2 car is that man, the 6 of David Reagan, because if Brad Keselowski moves into the top 10 in points, Reagan would be a prime candidate to take over that wild card spot. Drew Bleckensturfer has set up this car quite nicely for Reagan tonight. They've made minimal changes. He said it's a little snug in the center right now, but they're happy with it, Jamie.
And Tony Stewart not as happy as he expected to be. He said yesterday went great. They expected to be a top 10 car tonight. He was in a good mood. But something's going on with the car. He said, I think I know what it is in the rear end, but it's something we can't fix here. They've been working on it with wedge and air pressure, and it's not what they're looking for, but it's what they need to do to make it in the chase. Dave?
And Jamie, don't forget what happened to Denny Hamlin before the race was 10 laps old tonight. His car was destroyed in the front end. It came down pit road. The crew went to work and fixed it. They had several more pit stops to get it right. Lately, the car's just been a little bit free, then a little bit tight. They've got it fairly well balanced, and Hamlin trying to make his way into the chase by finishing well tonight by points. Jamie?
Well, a good balance is definitely not something that Dale Earnhardt Jr. has had tonight. Look at that car, the left rear, the right front. This car has been all over the place tonight. He's done a great job of keeping it together, getting the job done and doing exactly what he needs. He's been involved in wrecks. He has spun other people. He's gone down laps 3 times and gotten the lucky dog, Vince, but he is back on the lead lap and right now in the chase.
Right on Junior's tail is the 33 of Clint Boyer running 22nd. He's one of those that is chase eligible as well, but he needs to win, and he needs a good car if he's going to do it.
We're jumping for some reason, really loose in. The Ford, just try to hang on to.
I've driven that car up to as high as 13th, and just like AB says, I spent some time with Stephen yesterday. He has gotten in incredible shape. He's changed his body. He's got a great attitude. He's here working hard for Tommy Baldwin Racing and has given that car a heck of a ride.
This race has been incredibly, shall we say, interesting. A couple of accidents, some by the 48 and the 22. By the way, Jimmy Johnson is back out on track. He's 34 laps down, but he's back. More from Richmond when we come back.
Cautions just come out at Richmond. You can pretty plainly see why. Jeff Burton, flat tire and into the wall. And pit road is open for the lead lap cars. Carl Edwards leads them in. Jamie?
And Brad Keselowski slides to a stop as they work over on the right-hand side of the car. It's been pretty good. 4 tire stops. Fill it up with Sunoco fuel as they bring the gas can around. Vince?
David Reagan, center of your screen, says it's just a little bit snug, but they're afraid to touch it because it's so good. So no changes, just tires, Doc.
That's the story for Greg Biffle. Snug in the middle of Matt Busey said, we don't want to change it. We need to drive off. Let's leave it alone. Dave.
Edwards is surprised, but his car is free in the center. Track bar down just a little bit. 4 tires for the race leader, who appears to be holding that position leaving pit road.
Pit crew's been spot on tonight for that 99 team, Dave, and he will indeed hold the lead off the pit stops that come with 114 laps to go. Jeff Burton bringing out caution number 12 in the race. A look at what happened to the Virginia native. It wasn't fun. We'll be back for the restart. They call it the Action Track, this Richmond International Raceway, nickname they put on it when they remodeled it this way in 1988. It's lived up to that nickname tonight, wrapping up the 12th caution of this race. Got 110 laps to go, and we wave the green flag, and Carl Edwards is going to lead the field to this restart with his Roush Fenway Racing teammate Greg Biffle alongside. Edwards clears Biffle. Here's Keselowski trying to clear his Penske teammate, Kurt Busch. He'll do so. Keselowski to 3rd. Side by side for 5th. David Reagan in the 6th. Jeff Gordon, 24. Gordon slipping a bit there.
We've got 3 Roush cars up in the top 5 right now. Very solid night for this group. See Jeff Gordon back in the mix, slipping up a little bit, but had that one run where he was so loose that he fell way back. 3 wide here. Not going to work.
Kevin Harvick getting aggressive and getting a spot from Jeff Gordon.
It only worked because Jeff Gordon allowed it to work. He backed off and let him have it.
Quick note, Jamie McMurray, free pass on the last caution. He's back on the lead lap. Robbie Gordon back on the track after crash damage. Andy Lally back on the track after crash damage. And Montoya, Stewart, Gordon, Newman, that for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. And here comes Kyle Busch. He and Denny Hamlin racing double wide for a spot. A couple of more teammates.
Yeah, and Kyle Busch, every time he's tried to go forward tonight, something else has knocked him back. He had to make a pit stop under green flag, got him a lap down, got that back. Then he made the pit stop, that got him a lap down, took the wave around, so he's back on the lead lap, trying to go forward once again.
And the caution came out just after he made the green flag stop there. And we would not be surprised in a bit if he ended up there running for the win at the end of the night.
Yeah, well, everybody's going to have to pick it up. They're going to mess with Carl Edwards unless they get this car off somewhere.
That's kind of the way it was last night. And Kyle Busch, like I said, don't count him out. He figured out a way to beat him.
Those Dodges are awfully strong. Boy, they have to be really excited about getting these two into the chase. Only Dodge is really out here. Ambrose trouble again. Off of 2.
Off of 2. Caution flag is out.
Yellow's out. We got the leader into 1 here. Turn around. Got one more coming. All right. Come on.
Marcos Ambrose, 3rd time's the charm for him tonight. 26th place at the time for this one. You're grinning here next to me. What?
Oh, it's just, I mean, we expected to come here and see a lot of excitement, but my goodness. Uh-oh, trouble for Joey Logano here.
That's not good.
Turned in the back door of the garage there.
Another issue with the engine.
All right. What happened to Marcos Ambrose?
Well, here they are, 3 wide again. Dave Blaney in the 35 here tonight for Tommy Baldwin.
Yep. He got a little high and wide into that corner, kind of opened that hole up.
Well, Jimmy Johnson's been around a lot of action tonight. He was right in the middle of that.
Any takers on pit road here will be the question, because most of the leaders were all just in at lap 286. Not most, all of the leaders. So here, just a dozen laps later, pit road is open.
Still outside their fuel window here.
About 10 laps they're outside of that fuel window right now.
Jeff Gordon going to be the first one to make the move in from 10th position. He'd been slipping back on that restart. 102 laps to go at Richmond. How's this one going to all shake out? We're back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Green flag. 99 laps to go. Carl Edwards on the brake gets the lead back. Brad Keselowski trying to get under Greg Biffle for 2nd. David Reagan in the 6th, going to make it 3 wide. 1 and 2.
Yeah, Keselowski drove down into turn 1, trying to take that 2nd spot away a little bit hard. Got up into Greg Biffle, couldn't get in the throttle. Now he's losing this another spot to his teammate.
Kevin Harvick did a lot of leading in this race. In fact, he's led the most laps still on the night. 123 circuits Harvick was out in front, trying to come back to the front in that 29.
Yeah, he got off on that one long green flag run that we had, and looked like the handling kind of went away, but on the charge again, we're 4 wide going into 1.
And that should surprise us.
Yeah, stacked them all up.
Quick mention, A.J. Allmendinger, free pass on that last caution. The Dinger in 22nd place, lead lap. Here's Harvick again.
51 around on the front stretch.
Landon Castle.
Again.
No yellow yet.
Keep going, they haven't thrown a caution.
He was in 26th place. He's going to continue. We will stay under green. For something new. It's been a caution-filled night so far. 13 yellow flags to this point. Kurt Busch trying to get 2nd from Greg Biffle here. And you better get moving, because that black car behind him is showing some real speed.
Yeah, it looks like they've got this 29 car, Kevin Harvick, adjusted right again. don't know what adjustments they made earlier that got them off, but he's on the march once again.
David Reagan by Brad Keselowski. Every position Keselowski loses helps Dale Jr.'s position get a little stronger to lock into that top 10. Jeff Gordon took the fresh tires on the caution. Remember, he pulled out a 10th place on the restart or on the caution and went to pit road.
Only 12-lap fresher tires, but there seemed to be a little advantage.
We saw this a little bit earlier where some teams and drivers had stopped and got those tires, and it made a huge difference as they marched their way back up through the pack.
So Keselowski back to 7th place.
Oh, trouble.
Up to 6th.
Clint Boyer got into the
cars
double zero
in the wall, turn 1. Yellow flag, number 14.
7 cars coming there. After 7, come on.
I don't know if Clint Boyer had a problem, but he just never turned the car. Mark Martin had gone by on the inside, and he got into the left rear of Rudiman.
And the free pass on this caution is going to go to Marcus Ambrose.
Killed.
David Rudiman started on the pole tonight, was running 18th.
Yeah, Boyer kind of locked up the brakes. He was trying to stay off of them, get off of him. That just makes the car go to the right, and it looked like he got him extremely loose down in there, and the double zero just happened to be at him.
Carl Edwards, the leader, stays out. Most of the other front runners are in, Jamie.
And Jeff Gordon didn't have a whole lot of laps on his tires, but they thought, what the heck? The new tires are helping. 4 and a wedge adjustment. Vince?
For the 6th car of David Reagan, he says it's got to turn a little bit better, so they're going to make a track bar adjustment. Also 4 fresh tires, Doc.
4 tires, no changes, less than 13-second pit stop for Kurt Busch, and they can make it on fuel from here. Dang.
So can Kevin Harvick in the 29 car. He pitted for 4 tires, no changes. Denny Hamlin also on and off of pit road with a 4-tire change. 11 just a little slow on that stop.
But the key to this one, Carl Edwards did not come down pit road. The race leader's going to be out there on older tires than all of these hungry wolves that are going to come after him on the restart when we come back. Lap away from the restart as the field doubles up for the green flag from what has been the 14th caution flag of the night. It has been rugged, and now a pit strategy decision made by the crew chiefs of those cars on the front row. Bob Osborne for leader Carl Edwards and Jimmy Fennig for 2nd place running Matt Kenseth finds them out on the racetrack on older tires than the guys that are going to be chasing them down. New season of Dancing with the Stars premieres Monday, September 19th, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ABC with our most surprising cast ever, including soccer goalie Hope Solo and LA Laker Ron Artest.
There'll be some dancing going on in this restart right here with these pressure tires these guys have.
36 of Stephen Light also did not pit for tires. Kurt Busch was first off pit road, 3 deep into turn 1.
Who didn't know that?
Harvick quickly through to 2nd. Call by the 99 to not stop, Dave.
Bob Osborne told me they're in their fuel window. Carl did offer to come down pit road. He said, hey, we can get back up there, but Bob said, nope, just stay out. We'll see what happens.
Well, what are you saying? He can go 114 laps?
Oh. What's happened is he's lost the lead. You were jumping at?
Yeah, Stephen Light, who's out there on a little older tires too, got put in the situation. Looked like he was going to be putting the wall off turn 2. Sliding back a little bit here.
So Harvick leads, Biffle 2nd, Edwards back to 3rd. Here's the race for 4th. David Reagan trying to get underneath Matt Kenseth, his teammate. Kurt Busch in the 22 was first off pit road, but he kind of got bottled up on that restart.
He got put in that outside groove. He thought that was going to work for him for a minute, but it was in a 3-wide situation up on the high side. Nothing you can do but just back out and go at it again. See Jeff Gordon coming on the inside, making his way forward again.
Seen the 24 car run hot and cold at various times tonight. Right now it looks a little bit hot. Solid night for Tony Stewart. 7th place right now.
He's been quiet. He's been solid. He's been not in any of the skirmishes we've had. He's just had a really good night so far.
Very clean, basically doing what he needs to do to clinch a spot in the championship. Contact there. Kenseth with a fender pushed in.
Can't believe that Keselowski didn't crash. He was turned to the right and going down the back straightaway.
Yeah, a lot of that. Kyle Busch had made it 3 wide down in middle of turns 1 and 2 on the exit. Then it got a little bit on the tight side.
Talking about running hot. Jeff Gordon. And I don't mean overheating the engine.
Got to pass Reagan there. Got down into turn 3 a little bit hot. And had to wash up the track a little bit. Gathered him back. He's going at him again. Sure that they've told David Reagan he's probably in a situation now with all of the way this has played out that he needs to win this race if he's going to try to get himself in the chase.
Wonderful Pistachios telemetry from Kurt Busch. Jeff Gordon through to 2nd place. Carl Edwards slipped back to 3rd. Check that. 3rd place. Biffle has gotten through. My bad.
Greg Biffle's done a nice job here tonight. Getting himself in a position to possibly win, but still probably not going to be enough to get him in the chase, even if he wins the race, with Denny Hamlin able to rebound from all of his early troubles.
But after the season that Greg Biffle has had,
yeah, he's not
concerned. Take a win.
Yeah, going to victory lane would help heal a lot of wounds that they've had.
Giving it all he has, trying to chase down Kevin Harvick there. Look back through some of the front of the pack as they run. .8 of a second, Kevin Harvick to Greg Biffle. There's a look at the gap.
And if they look in their mirror, they're going to see a 24 car coming pretty quickly at them.
Fastest lap on the track, last circuit of all the cars. Belong to that man. Jeff Gordon, 2nd and 9/10 behind. Carl Edwards has led 113 laps tonight, most of the mid to late stages of the race. But now Edwards, after not pitting under that last caution, shuffled back to 4th. David Reagan running 5th, needs to win to get in, although some other circumstances could get him a place in the chase. 75 laps to go. Harvick, the race leader.
Where winners are celebrated, champions are crowned, and legends are born. Home of the biggest events in motorsports, ESPN and ABC.
Tonight bringing you live coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series from Richmond, Virginia. The full post-race wrap-up coming up at midnight Eastern on ESPN2 with NASCAR Now. And then our roundtable panel on Monday afternoon. Note the new time, 2:30 Eastern. Going to break down the chase field and talk about those that are in. Next weekend at Chicagoland Speedway. NASCAR Nationwide Series on Saturday, 3 Eastern, ESPN2. And the first race of the chase is the Geico 400. That's next Sunday at 1 Eastern on ESPN. Kevin Harvick leading more laps tonight than he has in every other race in 2011 combined. Has got a new 2nd place guy chasing him.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon got off there in one part on a long green flag run. Car extremely loose, but his crew has adjusted this car and has him moving forward.
65 laps in 2 seconds. See how it plays out. How about the leader, Dave?
If there's a little spring in his step this week, it may be because he got some burdens off of himself and wife, Delayda Harvick. They own a very successful nationwide team, which was sold this week to the guy that owns this car, Richard Childress. I asked his crew chief, Gil Martin, if he thought that that was going to be a help to Kevin. He said, absolutely, I think it will. He said now the phone's not going to be ringing for every little thing for Kevin. Now, Kevin and Delaney would remind us that they still have a remainder of the season to run, but a big burden off their shoulders. Now he can just be a driver, focus on this car, focus on driving the Nationwide car, and not have all the little things to bug him. Alan?
For Kevin Harvick, trying to score what would be his 4th win of the season tonight and add more bonus points and tie Kyle Busch for most wins this season. Of course, the points for wins determining the order for the reseeding for the chase that begins next week in Chicagoland. Long night for Kyle Busch. Kyle got a lap down a couple of different times in this race. Made an unscheduled stop for a vibration under the green, lost a lap, got a free pass, got it back, then made a green flag pit stop. Caution came out just after, lost the lap, got back onto the lead lap. Now Kyle is up in 5th and trying to take 4th from Carl Edwards. Doc.
Yeah, it's amazing how a couple of years ago we would never have been using the word patience with Kyle Busch. That's exactly what he has used tonight. All the things you talked about, Alan, had gone through with the right front tire and the vibration, et cetera, et cetera. They have just now told Kyle that Carl is on older tires and just be careful up there. He's slipping and sliding. Don't burn your tires off. Yours are fresher. Just be patient. You should be able to run him down as his tires wear here over the next 15 laps or so.
All right, so Kyle with some work to do yet to get up and be a factor in the finish of this one.
Yeah, and Carl Edwards, and I'm sure his team are hoping for a caution flag to bring everybody back to pit road where he can put some tires. They look like they had a dominant car there and made the decision to stay out.
He's actually done a good job of holding on to what he has. Matt Kenseth stayed out with him, and he's dropped like a rock. He's 22nd.
And the bigger story on the night, who makes it into the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. At one time, Brad Keselowski was getting up close to the lead in this race. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been a lap down on a few different occasions after being damaged, see the nose of that car, in a wreck all the way back at lap number 8 of this race. But as things stand now, Keselowski slipping back, Jr. back on the lead lap and moving forward. And Jr. with a comfortable margin for the moment. I say for the moment, because the way this night's been, the whole picture could change in these last 57 laps. How will the finish of this one play out? We'll find out and hope you'll stay with us for it. Harvick leads. .2 seconds from Kevin Harvick to Jeff Gordon, a gap that has grown a little bit in the last couple of laps, but now the race leader's starting to get into some lap traffic.
Yeah, that'll change things. You can see a lot of traffic that he's going to have to negotiate right here. Of course, Jeff Gordon will eventually have to get into that too, but we'll see just how close Gordon can get to him.
We apologize for the technical difficulty a moment ago, and we tried to go to the commercial break. We're going to take that now, come back and get you set up for the finish of this one. Harvick, Gordon, Biffle, Edwards, and the Busch brothers, your top 6 drivers. 55 laps to go.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on ABC, brought to you by AT&T and Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Let's take a look at the winners from the 3 Doors Down Time of My Life sweepstakes. Congratulations, Maggie B. from Oklahoma City, who won the grand prize, a VIP trip for 4 to see 3 Doors Down perform in Tunica, Mississippi. The runners-up won a prize pack of 3 Doors Down albums, including an autographed copy of their latest release, Time of My Life. It's been quite the time tonight in Virginia's capital city at the Richmond International Raceway as we're down inside the final 50 laps of this one. Kevin Harvick leads. He has led the most laps, but that would be way underselling the story of how this night has unfolded. Jeff Gordon trying to chase him down. He's nipped about a 1/10 of a second off the gap from Harvick in the last few laps, but that's not a whole lot, especially since Harvick was in all that lap traffic that he didn't seem to have as much trouble moving through as he might have.
Yeah, it's amazing when you have a good handling race car how you can negotiate that traffic pretty well and not really lose any time.
There's your 3rd place runner, Greg Biffle, and the gap that Biffle finds himself behind the leader. Carl Edwards struggling in that 99 car. Carl did a lot of the leading in the middle stages of this race, Dave, but a little pit decision has gotten him falling back.
Yeah, remember, he stayed out, so those tires are old, not working well. They put some new batteries in the calculator as well and came up with this.
So if we don't get a caution, we're screwed. We're 10 laps short. That's fine. We aren't going to win it anyway with the tires here probably, so I don't care either way. Let's just do what we got to do.
So frustrating. They'll have to pit with about 10 to go, Alan.
If they don't get another caution.
He's hanging on real well. If they do get a caution, he's going to get tires, and everybody else will too, and I think he'll be right back in it.
You see, he's run down his teammate Greg Biffle, who does have fresher tires and stuff. So this car, Carl Edwards, handles really well. Been really easy on the tires all night. We've seen him be great in the long run, but unfortunately they put themselves in a position that's probably not going to work out too well.
Greg Biffle was really chasing Kevin Harvick hard when he was running in second after the restart, but couldn't catch him, and maybe he's kind of used up what he's got on that 16.
Their teammate Matt Kenseth just behind them, as you saw in the picture there. He started up beside of Carl Edwards on this restart after that last caution. He's actually a lap down now.
One thing I see in Carl Edwards' car, I don't see a lot of brake heat. I do see it in a lot of other cars. I think that's one reason his car stays running as good as it does for so long.
Yeah, Andy, you pointed that out in the nationwide race about Carl Edwards last night being a factor of why his car was so good there, especially on the long runs too, and I think you're exactly right again tonight.
If we should see the caution flag again, it'd tie a record here at Richmond. We've had 14 yellow flags. They've had 15 here twice, and that's the record.
And we've got 41 laps to go.
Yeah, sure wouldn't surprise me. On the lead lap right now, down to 21 cars. About to be 20 as Kevin Harvick gets underneath Clint Boyer. Boyer looked like a potential winner earlier, but just has had a variety of circumstances go the wrong way on him. Involved in a crash at lap number 8. Came back from that to run up into the top 5. Then made a green flag pit stop. Caution came out, and other things have continued on from there for this 33 car. And for fourth position, Greg Biffle continuing to slip back a little bit, and Kyle Busch trying to get just a little closer to the front.
Yeah, he's made a nice rebound from a couple of things that have hindered his night. Having to come up through the pack a couple of different times, but has done a nice solid job and getting himself up into the top 5 here.
Really nice to see all the star-spangled tributes on these race cars tonight.
And you see a company like M&M's Mars just give up everything to paint this car and have us all never forget what happened 10 years ago, and it means a lot. A lot of teams and making the effort to make sure that our minds, even though we're here enjoying this race tonight, are in the right place.
Jeff Gordon in second place is chipping away a little more at the lead. Jamie?
He is. He's in second now, the best he has been all night, and the car is good as well. Now, Alan, when you take a look back at the season, working with Alan Gustafson as crew chief for the first time this year, they have 3 wins together, and I asked Alan, how is Jeff Gordon different, or how does he compare to other drivers you work with? He said he has the natural talent of Kyle Busch, the toughness and racing savvy of Mark Martin, and the intelligence of Jimmy Johnson. He said he's the total package as a race car driver. He said he's the best this team has ever had, and he is proud to work with them, and he said he thinks they have what it takes to win number 5 this year.
Well, they're in position to make a run for it over these final 10 races of the season, and nobody has been stronger these last few weeks than Jeff Gordon. Led the most laps in the race 2 weeks ago in Bristol, Tennessee. Didn't win that race. Led the most laps last week in Atlanta and wound up coming out on top with that battle of the Titans between he and Jimmy Johnson. It was so entertaining in the final laps.
I think he's tracking just a little bit at a time. He's tracking down that 29 car. If it goes green, I think he's going to get there.
He was 2 seconds back a while back. He is now 1.2 seconds back.
Kevin doing a great job in traffic around all these lap cars.
And that just becomes even more difficult as you get more laps on these tires. Your car starts sliding around a little bit more. And just depending on where you catch these cars, and how cooperative they are with you as to how much time you're going to lose in making these passes.
Momentum to start the run for a championship. This 29 team, we talk about how hot Jeff Gordon has been in the last few weeks. Kevin Harvick's last top 5 finish, that's not even his last win, his last top 5 finish was in early June.
Man.
11 races ago since they had a top 5.
Well, they're turning it around at the right time.
Yeah, he might be getting ready to be disappointed here tonight, thinking that he has this thing well in hand. As we see, good battle for 5th right here.
Kurt Busch trying to get by Greg Biffle, 22. David Reagan in the mix there in the 6. Reagan's hopes to win, maybe get in, looking bleaker.
Yeah, but showing once again that this is just a racetrack that he enjoys running at. Another solid effort for David Reagan in this UPS Ford. So I know that he wanted to get a win, but we've seen him run around the top 5 here a number of times in the last couple of years.
In traffic, Jeff Gordon has caught Kevin Harvick.
He's there, man.
Yeah, see Harvick having, where we were mentioning he was really making time earlier was he could really let his car roll through the center. You can see him slowing down a little bit more on the entry to the corner. That speed that he was carrying through the center is now much slower.
Which way does he go? Gordon peaking high, now looking low. Can he get the traction down to get alongside Harvick? Here he comes.
Momentum. You can't beat it. Gordon's had it coming, going along for the last 3 weeks.
Not so fast.
Yeah, you see Harvick getting forced up here. Sometimes you're getting forced up. Maybe a little bit of a benefit to you. You didn't know you could actually run up there. See Gordon slipping as he tries to make the pass. So Harvick gets a little breathing room for a minute.
Gordon's going to have to use some discipline right here because he could overdrive his car, run the tires off of it, almost like Jimmy Johnson did last week when he ran down Jeff Gordon. He got right to him and then ran the tires off trying to get by him.
Now Gordon going to try that outside lane. Jeff Burton in the 31 car.
He's 8 laps down. He's probably got fresher tires right now.
That's where I was going. He was just on pit road at lap 362. So he's going to look like Superman here coming through these guys.
Yeah, Burton had a good night going, good solid effort going, and he cut down a left rear tire going into turn 3 earlier.
Update on the 31, Dave?
No, they just pitted 2 laps ago, Alan, and when he got between the 29 and the 24, a bunch of the 29 guys were like, hey, thumbs up over to their buddy, but he goes on by him now, and he'll let the 29 and the 24 fight it out.
And again, a lot of traffic ahead for these top 2. So, for those of us who've never driven a race car at this level, certainly includes me in that group, talk about Jeff Gordon cooling down his tires or backing off and regrouping. What's he doing? Put me inside the race car.
Yeah, exactly what you just said. He is cooling down. He ran hard to get up there. You could see the back end start to kick out as he tried to make the pass on Kevin Harvick. So the experience of Jeff Gordon says, okay, now I have to cool this right rear tire off a little bit if I'm going to really be able to make a run. If he continues at that pace, he's probably just going to wear that tire even more and not have a chance. He might get a chance here in the traffic to make it on the high side, but you move up a little bit, you don't turn the wheel as much, you don't spin the tires as much. Harvick's going to give him that outside, see if he can make the pass.
Side-by-side lap traffic ahead of the race leaders as they try to go side-by-side for the lead. Which lane's going to open up?
I think Gordon can make the pass up here, but it's going to depend on if traffic will allow him to do that.
47 car, Bobby Labonte, and there he goes.
Yeah, really sideways for Harvick off of turn 2 there, and Gordon just motors right on by.
I was going to say Bobby Labonte's back in 24th place. Now Gordon with a little wiggle there.
Yeah, his car's not that great right now either.
Yeah, we saw him take a car that wasn't that great the last 10 laps at Atlanta where the speeds are a lot higher and get the job done too.
3rd place, Kyle Busch, 18, trying to get by Carl Edwards in the 99.
I heard Carl's team say he had to pit with about 10 to go, so that's about 12 more laps.
If we don't see somebody run out of patience and turn somebody around.
Yeah, that or, we're getting in a longer run here. We have that opportunity for Kimbrough. We talked about melting the bead of the tire, heating up the brakes too much, and hurting. As you see, Dale Jr.'s getting ready to go down a lap once again. So we can see a lot of things happening. Carl Edwards going to stay out there as long as they possibly can and see if they can get that caution that they need.
We're live in the closing laps at Richmond, Virginia tonight. The race to the chase, kind of looking like it did when the night started, though it's been very eventful along the way. Tony Stewart in position to grab himself a place in the championship, as is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Keselowski and Hamlin in position for the wild cards, but we got 20 laps to go.
If you'd have told me before the night started that Dale Jr. was going to make 16 pit stops on the night and he was going to be able to stay in the top 10, I'd have laughed at you, but that's kind of what's happened here.
And for that matter, Denny Hamlin, too. Right? He's made 17 pit stops on the night. Hamlin involved in an early dust-up and had to get some damage repaired on that car and come back from a lap down. Right now, watching Kevin Harvick try and find something to be able to close back in on Jeff Gordon. But so far, it's not happening.
Yeah, it looks like Harvick might have tried to build that big lead that he got by maybe overusing his tires. You can see the car really sliding around now.
Kyle Busch sliding back a spot. David Reagan getting through into fourth. Nice drive for Reagan.
Yeah, he's a little over 4 seconds back here. About 5 seconds back now from the leader, but I don't think he's got enough time. His car looks pretty solid, but Jeff Gordon's out. He's making nice, solid laps.
And the only way David Reagan... caution is out. And this changes everything.
Keep going here. You can't because of full fire.
Paul Menard.
I think the right rear is down.
Paul Menard, winner at Indianapolis of the Brickyard 400, involved in contact earlier tonight that did all that damage to that 27 car. Put him up on the wall in turn 1. They made repairs. They brought him back out onto the racetrack. Now he brings out the caution flag that erases Jeff Gordon's lead, puts the pit crews in the spotlight, and sets up what's going to be a wild dash to the finish.
Here they come. Huge break for Carl Edwards.
Pit stops with 15 laps to go.
And Jeff Gordon, your leader, in his pit box. 4 tire stop here. They'll get as much fuel as they need. They're going to wait on the tires here. Down and away, Doc.
Wedge has been Kyle Busch's friend. They're going to put a half-rounder wedge, left rear, top it off with fuel. Dave.
Slight air pressure adjustment for Kevin Harvick. 4 tires and fuel. 4 tires as well for Carl Edwards. He was going to make it until that caution came out. Here's his chance. Here is the race off pit road. It's Harvick.
Kevin Harvick's crew getting it done. Retaking the lead from Jeff Gordon on the pit lane. Juan Pablo Montoya with a flat tire coming to his pit stall as he brought the 42 car in. And they call it the money stop.
29 crew getting it done.
One of the elements that goes into winning a championship. Pit crew's got to be getting it done. And getting it done when it counts.
Yeah, I think that's the key, is getting it done when it counts. You know, you can have great stops all day, but when you really have to have it, Andy, it's nice to see these guys pick it up.
Oh, yeah, and they're waiting for that caution. They were just glad to see it happen, and then that's their opportunity to get on the stage and show what they can do. And, you know, it's great when you can pull off a stop like that late in the race.
So, NASCAR is going to give the field a 1-to-go signal. This time, I'll mention that Dale Earnhardt Jr. got the free pass for a 3rd time tonight in that 88 car. Our in-race reporter tonight's Brad Keselowski.
Hey, Brad, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, buddy, looked like earlier on that you might have something for the win here, but still a good, solid night for you.
Yeah, it's been kind of up and down, Dale, with the Miller Lite Dodge Charger here. We had one really good run where we took tires, and most of the field did. And that really helped us get up to the front, get to our track position, but we've just been struggling to get her to turn the center the way I wanted to, and I've kind of been fading here. So new tires, my car's really strong, and I'm going to try and take advantage of it.
Okay, good luck in these last 12, buddy.
Thank you.
Coming to the restart. Lead lap cars, there are 21 of them. They're doubled up, getting ready to go. Kevin Harvick had the lead. Jeff Gordon tracked him down, got the lead. Caution came out. Harvick's crew got him off pit road first with lane choice. He's got Gordon to his outside. Carl Edwards back on equal tires. Kyle Busch right there as well. Gonna go green with 12 laps to go.
Oh, this ought to be good here. There goes Carl. Didn't take long, did it?
Gordon struggling a little bit to get going in that outside lane. Harvick clear with the lead. Edwards inside of Gordon for second.
Yeah, this hasn't been Jeff Gordon's strong suit. His car really stays with him on a longer run, though. But Kevin Harvick's just like he was shot out of a cannon here.
And the longer these guys run side by side for second, the better it is for Harvick. Now Edwards clear through into second. He's going to have 10 laps to try and track down Harvick. Edwards dominated the middle section of this race. Fell back in that last run. Jeff Gordon racing for third with Kyle Busch. And David Reagan trying to get a piece of this action too. So the caution, a not friendly turn of events for Jeff Gordon. First to fourth in that sequence. Now watching if Carl Edwards can track down Kevin Harvick for the race lead.
Running the fastest laps of the night right now.
Martin and Allmendinger first side by side there. 8 to go.
8 more times.
Watch Carl Edwards as Gordon tries to take this third spot back. Carl Edwards is driving this car 2 and 3 car lengths deeper than he has all night into the corner.
For third, Gordon trying to get back clear of Kyle Busch. That lane choice by Harvick getting, sliding up there. Back to third. That by Harvick's crew getting him off the pit lane first. Yes, Gordon restarted on the front row, but Harvick had the lane choice. Add that into the fact that Gordon hasn't had a good short run car tonight.
This car's coming around now, but there's only 7 laps to go.
Yeah, he's too far back.
Yeah, he's too far back, and with a tight race car, I think like Jeff Gordon has on the start of these runs, that's what has been his problem of starting up on the high side. See, Keselowski, he said his car was good on new tires, trying to go forward.
Got a spot there on Biffle. That'd be for 12th place. Keselowski, one of the drivers that will
5 to go. Richard Keith, let's get it.
Race for the championship over the final 10 weeks of the season. Carl Edwards tracking down Kevin Harvick.
He's there. He's clicked off a couple of tenths in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, where's he going to pass him? He's going to have to hit him to get by him.
You think?
Well, I think he will.
Saying, based on what we've seen tonight, would that surprise you? Not me. 15 caution flags in this race tonight. Now 2 of the sport's best. Again this week. Going to go at it for the win in the final laps. Lap car ahead is Andy Lally, damaged in an early crash. He gives way. Nicely done there.
You can see Carl Edwards pull down there trying to get out of Kevin Harvick's mirror just to give him get him to thinking that he may be trying to dive in there on the bottom. Harvick's too savvy for that, though.
Carl, nice run, center of the corner.
Don't let him get the inside here.
2 laps to go. Can he find a way around? Harvick holds him off in that corner.
Yeah, Harvick's really good down in 1 and 2. He can get his car turned and back in the gas. This is where Edwards is a little bit better, though.
He's been best in the middle of 3 and 4.
Better get it done in a hurry.
One more time.
Got one more shot.
Final lap of the race. The lap car is Marcus Ambrose.
Can he get to his back bumper down into turn 3?
Are we going to see the bump and run? Final corner.
Can't get there.
Kevin Harvick's going to get the run up off the turn and get to the checkered flag first. Momentum, win number 4. Kevin Harvick takes the checkered flag tonight at Richmond.
Yeah, guys, you won out on pit road.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, that's definitely the turning moment for Kevin Harvick and his team, getting that caution flag and then the crew doing the job.
Kevin Harvick.
Well, thanks for everything, Richard.
With
yes, everybody. Great job.
Very interesting week for him, as documented earlier. The deal to sell Kevin Harvick Incorporated's NASCAR Nationwide Series teams to Richard Childress. Kevin said it was important to get it done so he could come to Richmond with a clear head, ready to focus on the final 10 races with a one-track mind.
That's what it's going to do then. He's going to find himself right in the middle of the chase. He's going to find himself starting up at the top of the chase with Kyle Busch. That 4th win.
And for a guy who hadn't had a top 5 finish since early June, Harvick with his 4th win of the season tonight. Dave, the circumstances fell their way at the end.
Absolutely did, Alan. And it seemed like the 29 car was there, then it wasn't, then you guys got it back, Gil. How'd you do it?
Well, Budweiser Chevrolet's been good all night long on the early run. About the last 20 laps of the run, the 24 just comes on. I mean, he's really fast right there. But, I mean, man, right there, that was close. The 99, I mean, he had a few more laps and we'd have been in trouble. But, hey, that was a 400-lap race instead of a 500.
And a short run at the end.
Yeah, short run at the end. The car was at its best and just so happy with it. The guys on pit road, so proud of them. The guys in the engine shop, they've stepped up. I mean, we're ready to go to the chase now.
They seem chase ready, Alan, to me.
I would say so. Good way to get ready for that 10-race run to the championship. Scored a win tonight at Richmond. Kevin Harvick with our Goodyear winning moment tonight. Wife Delana holding those eyes closed, wanting to make sure he held off Carl Edwards. Harvick celebrating tonight. We're back to Richmond after this message and a word from our ABC stations. A wild night tonight at the Richmond International Raceway. Some 15 caution flags. A lot of the guys who were trying to lock themselves into a place in the chase or who were hoping to race their way into the chase were involved in incidents throughout the night. Kevin Harvick persevered and came out on top of this race. Dr. Jerry Punch.
And Kurt Busch climbing out of his car. What a phenomenal comeback he had. A tire going down, a right rear tire going down. Kurt, you guys battled back for a top 5 finish. Take us through your night.
Really a good, hard-fought battle. That debris from that early caution cut our right rear tire. And, yeah, we were lucky to obtain a yellow while we were sitting there limping around. So to fight back from that and to be in good position all night, we had a top 5 car with our Shell Pennzoil Dodge. Last 2 races to be running strong and to be up front, this is what we need for the next 10 weeks. But it's all a tribute to the guys giving me good pit stops, and we're making good adjustments on the car as we run.
A couple of contacts between you and 5-time champion Jimmy Johnson. What was going on there, Kurt?
We raced down into turn 1, and I locked up the left front trying to avoid him. But when he came back to us, you know, you could see it coming. You know, that's not something you see from Jimmy Johnson every day. So I know we're in his head. And if we're going to race this way, he's got to worry that there's 10 other guys in this chase, not just the 22.
Does this carry forward to the chase?
I'm good with where we are. We raced hard. We've got good cars that are not too terribly wrecked, but he's got to learn to race. He's been able to beat guys the last 5 years just by out driving them with what he has for equipment. If he wants to switch equipment, let's see what we can do. But I'm going to beat him fair and square with my Penske Dodge.
What's your mindset for the chase now? Half the chase are on 1.5 mile tracks. You're really good on those racetracks.
Yeah, I feel like our 1.5 mile program is solid. We've got, you know, Dover in the mix with that mile on the high bank. But, you know, the way that this chase starts out new with Chicago, we've got to be good there to start off, go to Loudon where the chase formally began, and then worry about some of the trouble spots, which could happen at Talladega, Martinsville, and then the repave out in Phoenix is going to be very interesting.
Hey, thanks for your time. Well done tonight, Mike.
Thanks, Doc. Appreciate it.
Let's go to Jamie Little.
Well, of course, Jimmy Johnson was already locked in the chase coming in here, and you and Kurt have had your history together. Why this race, and why now get the payback? He basically just said, we just interviewed him, that you need to learn to race.
Okay, I got run over going into one, so you know, you're gonna spin me out, I'm gonna spin you out, just part of it. So I'm sure I'll go find him and talk to him, and he'll run his mouth, and we'll go from there. So we'll just we'll see what happens. But I mean, I've worked very hard to not have any contact with him, and even the Pocono thing, I made a move to break the draft. I didn't touch his car. He instigated and ran over the side of me. So if he can stop running into my Lowe's Chevrolet, everything will be just fine.
Do you think it's going to be over from here on out in the chase?
We'll see. Time will tell. It's in his hands. And I didn't do anything until he ran me over. I passed him 2 or 3 times tonight without touching him, and then he ran me over going into one. So you know, it is what it is. But I'm very excited for this Lowe's Impala. Our car, granted, we had our issues with getting turned around there, but we had a very strong race car start of the race tonight and was running the top 4 or 5. And it's unfortunate we couldn't finish where we were supposed to tonight. But we'll go to Chicago and have a good race.
All right, 5-time Jimmy Johnson going for a 6th championship. He's seated 6th. Alan?
Well, this night was about Kevin Harvick finding a way to come back after Jeff Gordon got by him. Caution came out. His pit crew got in the lead. And Kevin Harvick has gotten himself a 4th win of this season.
Was a celebration worth waiting for, Kevin. What a strong drive, and it seems like so long we've been talking about we need to get back to where you were early in the season. How about this?
This is pretty awesome. First thing I want to do is thank all of our troops. I want to thank Officer Victor DePero, tomorrow's NYPD's 49th precedence. All the troops for everything that they do for us. This is a special weekend. I want to say happy birthday to my mom tomorrow and Ford on Monday, but just a great night. Pit crew did a great job on pit road, getting us off, and you know, last week we had a good car. This week we had a good car, and we're able to capitalize there at the end. So just want to thank everybody from Budweiser, Ream, Jimmy John's Chevrolet, everybody from Realtree, and everybody else who helps on this car.
Did you have a doubt mid-race? He told you you'd burned off the rear tires, and things weren't looking that good.
Well, I knew I had burned off the rear tires, and you know, it's just one of those deals where we were off that run. Then at the end we got too tight, but these guys are happy. Just want to thank the fans, everybody from Sprint, Hunt Brothers Pizza, Odyssey Batteries, SKF, PTC, Champion, Menards, Sherwin-Williams, and Safety Clean. Just a great weekend.
By the way, seated 2nd now with your 4th win, Kevin.
That's what it's all about in these first 26, and we learned that last year. We didn't win enough races in the chase, and we didn't, you know, think we did a very good job of that for the last 10. So now it's all about the last 10 races, and we got a little momentum now.
Strong showing by Kevin Harvick and Team 29 tonight. Alan?
He's got a lot of momentum. After a summer of struggles, I think it's fair to say, for Harvick and his 29 team, a win tonight in Richmond gets him a great spot in seeding, as after tonight's race, they set the point total for all of the cars who make the chase to 2,000, and then you get 3 points for each win, except for the wild cards, who don't get any credit for their victories. The victories is what got them into the championship. So there you go. Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, equal points atop the standings as we get set to head to Chicagoland next weekend and begin the chase. Now, Clint Bowyer's going to be one of those who finds himself shut out after tonight, Vince.
Clint Bowyer talked earlier in the weekend about his odds being long to make the chase, and it was a tough night for you from the very beginning with the contact early, and then just kind of what happened.
Yeah, started him before that. Air conditioner quit him about 10 laps into the thing, and you know, I got under David, and I just didn't get any room left down there, and I was trying to stay off of him, spun myself out, and ended up crashing some good cars, and you know, lo and behold, that was kind of what I needed, to be honest with you, and gave the new light and new hope. We drove as hard as I could and got back up to the front and got ourselves in position and gambled, you know, did the things you got to do to try to win the race, and just, you know, nothing's went our way, you know, really since Charlotte, about halfway through this season so far, and until you get some of those things swinging your way, and you know, you got to keep trying, you keep putting yourself in those positions, and I want to say congratulations to everybody in the chase. It means a lot to everybody in the sport to be a part of it, and unfortunately we're not, but there's always next year.
Yeah, thanks, Clint. Tough luck for Clint Boyer.
I don't know if we have enough time to describe everything that Dale Earnhardt Jr. had to overcome tonight. Junior, lap 8, about a 15-car pileup in turn 4. You got all been up there. You have to go back to 29th. You get the free pass 3 times because the car's all over the racetrack. How would you describe your night?
Well, we just kept working and trying to fix the car. It was tore up pretty bad in the front end. Had a lot of camber and just was really loose in and wouldn't turn in the middle. But we worked on it, trying to hit on something that would be kind of competitive, and we were real good. We could race the leaders on 10-lap tires, but after that we just go backwards and just try to fight for everything we could, every little bit of track position we could. But I thought we was gonna have a pretty good car tonight. They had the 33 spun out over there, and everybody kind of knew about it except for 1 or 2 guys, and drove a few of us into the wreck. And I was locked the brakes up when that 13 sent me in the wreck. I locked the brakes up, and I'm in the door of this 11 car here, and I saw the 33 sitting up there, and I thought, I'll get off the brakes, let the front tires roll, turn down the bottom, go around him. He was way up the track. Well, he gets off the brakes and rolls down the track in front of us. So I was, all right, I'm gonna hit him. So we hit him, and that was it. But we just worked hard the rest of the night.
And here's the best part with that wink. He is in the chase, folks. Dale Earnhardt Jr. held his breath and kept a great attitude, but he is now in the chase here in 2011. Jamie.
Well, he's the Cinderella story of the chase. His second attempt at making it. He gets it done this time. Your crew chief, a first-year crew chief in the Sprint Cup Series. How did you guys make this happen? The first half of the season, nobody would ever put their money on you guys to make yourselves in the chase.
Well, we just didn't give up, and it's very easy to get down early in the season when things aren't going your way. But, Jamie, we just focused on it, kept plugging away, doing all the right things and not giving up on them. And eventually you're going to be rewarded for that. So, we've got a little bit of momentum going in the chase, some strong runs. We weren't as fast as we wanted to be here tonight, but we still got a 12th place finish, and I think we were a 15th place car. So when the chase comes, you've got to out finish what you have for a car, and we're doing that as a team. We just got to continue to find more speed, and I'm sure all the boys back at Penske Racing are working on that right now, and we're ready to go. It's chase time, and we got the blue deuce in it.
All right, Brad Keselowski will be seated 11th, and Alan, he gave up 9 bonus points for those wins.
Yeah, he got into the chase, though, because of those wins. And for Brad Keselowski, what's there to complain about, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Very solid race team, driver. You have to look at them with the consistency they've had that they'll could be a factor in the championship here.
Championship begins next Sunday at Chicagoland Speedway. ESPN for all the Sunday day races. ABC for the Saturday night race in the chase. Those are the tracks. Those are the times. And if you'd like to join us at the racetrack, you can find out about tickets at NASCAR.com/tickets. Matt Kenseth had a tough night tonight, but he's in the championship, Vince.
That's all that counts. He will run in the chase for the championship. Will be seated 4th heading into the chase. And first of all, let's address tonight. Kind of a tough night and a handful of a car for you.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough time to talk about the whole race. But, yeah, it was an uphill struggle the whole time from the wreck right away in the beginning all the way to the very end. So we really struggled with our car pretty much all day yesterday and all day today. So it was a frustrating night.
In the chase, size up your chances.
Well, our team cars all ran good tonight. They all ran in the top 3 or 4, so that's encouraging for being at a short track. The good news is we'll try to forget about tonight here tomorrow and Monday and go to Chicago, and hopefully we unload a fast car and can run up front.
Matt Kenseth looking for his 2nd championship. Dave?
Carl Edwards nearly ran down Kevin Harvick at the end. Carl, tell us about this race, the near win, and then your 5th seating in the chase and ready to go for one.
I needed one more lap. I went down that last corner and I thought, I'm going to get to him. I'm going to get to him, move him out of the way, and I couldn't. He was faster than I thought. So we gave up 3 points tonight, but the big picture is our Kellogg's Aflac team is fast enough to go out here and compete for the chase. So as much as this hurts, I feel like we're back. We're ready to go compete for this win, and this is overall just a really fun night. I wish we'd have won the thing, but I want to say I hope all of our troops come home soon, and we appreciate everyone honoring our heroes here on this 10th anniversary of September 11th. So we'll go get them at Chicago. It's going to be good.
Thanks for a great show tonight. Dr. Punch?
Well, 4-race winner Kyle Busch is the top seed in the chase. And, Kyle, people are saying the poise and composure you've shown on the racetrack this year makes you one of the favorites to win it. What do you think?
Well, if tonight wasn't one of those nights, I don't know what was. You know, geez, we fought through everything, it seemed. You know, loose wheel and going to the back and driving back up through there. We got to the top 10. It's so tough the more and more you get into these races because guys have worked on their cars to pass cars. And once we got back to the top 10, you know, then we came to pit road a little early and got bit by the caution. So just, you know, hard-fought battle tonight. And certainly, you know, we had to battle through more adversity than we would have liked to. But that's what's going to make us better. That's what's going to make us stronger. So I can't say enough about all these guys on the 911 tribute car tonight. You know, it was fun to drive that thing, and I wish we could have got a little bit better there. It seemed like middle part of the race we were dialing ourselves out a little bit, trying to free the car up and make it where it would roll the bottom, and then, you know, we went back the other way and started tightening it up and got a little bit better. But, you know, there at the end, those front two guys were just flawless. They were flying, and we couldn't keep up with them. So glad to come home and have a decent run here. But, you know, when I got used up off the bottom there with the 24 and fell back to 6th, I just didn't have enough to get back through there.
That patience and persistence will help him in the chase as well. Jamie.
Well, for the second time as a team owner now, Tony Stewart gets both cars in the chase. I know you were a little worried. Your fans were worried for a little while, Tony, but 2 top 10s in a row now. You guys are in the chase. How are you looking at these next 10 now?
Well, we got to take it 1 week at a time, just like we did the first 26. It's, you know, this was the best run we've had here in about 3 races, so proud of our guys. We still got a little bit to go here, but I'm proud of the gains we've made the last 2 weeks. So really, really proud of Gene Haas and everybody at Haas Automation and Stewart Haas Racing and you know, Doug Dukart and these guys at Hendrick Motorsports for the engines and chassis we give. Just really proud of our guys. I've probably been the one that's been the most down in the last 2 months, and our guys have been the one keeping me pumped up. So they've been the leaders of this organization, so I'm just really proud of our guys.
All right, Tony Stewart is pumped up. He is seated 9th in the chase. Vince?
And his driver, Ryan Newman, finishes 8th tonight and will be the 8th seed in the chase. In the chase for the 4th time. How good does it feel to know that you're going to be running for the championship?
It's awesome. It felt even better last week to know we were locked in going into Richmond because you saw all the craziness. But just a shout out to all the soldiers out there. And special weekend, obviously, and it's just an honor to drive this U.S. Army Chevrolet, and we'll do our best to try to win them a championship.
And we'll keep an eye on it. Ryan Newman in the chase, Dave.
Night for Denny Hamlin, Vince, a destroyed race car at lap 8. What was it like behind the wheel to come home and get in the chase?
Yeah, I mean, it was an unbelievable comeback. This car really is destroyed. Shock mounts are all messed up. Splitters broke off of it. It's amazing how fast we got this car considering the circumstances, and my pit crew just did an amazing job. I mean, it's all there is to it. They got this splitter somewhat off the racetrack, and we were just able to just motor up through there.
You're somewhat in the chase. Every year he's been full-time in the Sprint Cup, he's been in the chase. Dr. Punch?
Jeff Gordon over here talking with Rick Hendrick, and Rick, who has now got 3 cars in the chase here in 2011, and talking about how special this year is. A big smile on Jeff Gordon's face. And Jeff, a 3rd place finish tonight, your 3rd seed in the chase. They say it's about momentum winning championships. You've got it. Do you feel it?
I do feel it. This team has just got me excited. They're on fire, and you know, we struggled tonight. I mean, we did not have the best car throughout the race. I made a really bad call by not coming to pit road when I was called to come to pit road, and that about cost us a lap. To come back from that and be up there and take the lead with you know, 20 to go and have a shot at winning that thing was awesome. We didn't quite have what it took there at the end, so to come home 3rd was still a great finish. And oh man, this team has got some great momentum right now. So yeah, we're very excited.
Hey, good luck in the chase.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Alan Bestwick, the regular season is history, and now the chase begins. And man, this is going to be some battle for the championship.
Sure will, Doc. And before we turn our attention to that, a final thought on tonight's race from Andy and DJ. I just keep coming up with wild.
Yeah, it was wild. With nothing to lose on these teams that, you know, running for these points, the 3 points that were available to take into the chase, it was really fun to watch. And, you know, Kevin Harvick gets the 3 points.
Yeah, and to see these teams that had to come here tonight and battle through some adversity to get themselves situated in the chase. David Reagan finishing 4th, making a great run at trying to get that 2nd win. It was just a fun night. It was wild, a lot of things happening, but you know, we've come to expect that whenever these drivers are vying for a spot in the chase. So this chase is going to be fun. These 10 races is going to be interesting.
And end result on the night is all of the drivers who were in a potential chase position to start the night, left the night with one in hand. Nothing was able to change hands, although at various times during the night that picture certainly was flexible and moving, but the guys got done what they needed to get done.
Yeah, they sure did. And as I look at these 12 drivers that are situated in the chase, I mean, it is wide open. We have a few favorites, but we also have, it can be pretty wide open, especially if some of these drivers and teams that we've seen struggle a little bit, if they can get off to a good start these first 2 weeks, anything can happen here.
So now 10 races to go, 12 drivers in the championship. Only one will be champion at the end of that time. And Nicole, this sure was an interesting night to figure out who those 12 would be.
You are not kidding. Was not easy for those 12 drivers to make it into this chase field, whether it was tonight or over the previous 26 races. But now that the field is set, who do you like, especially heading into Chicago?
I like Jeff Gordon. I saw a lot of momentum, Nicole, out of Jeff Gordon. He looked fantastic tonight, just like he did last weekend. You can see in his interview right there with Dr. Jerry Punch, he's excited, he's revved up, and Brad, I think he's back.
I agree with you, but the guy I think it's going to win it all is not Jimmy Johnson, even though I think he and Chad Knaus are going to run outstanding. I think this is Kyle Busch's best opportunity to win a championship as we're going.
He has been in this situation before, but Kyle Busch is one of those drivers. He has won a race in the chase, but he wasn't in the chase this year. So if he's going to win the title, he's going to probably have to win a race or two. Do you think that we've finally now seen this mature driver coming through?
Saw it tonight. Saw a lot of perseverance out of him tonight. He could have easily given up. He didn't come unglued. You can see right there he's smiling because he did a yeoman's job of getting that car up and finishing in 6th place. I think he is a guy to beat come championship time.
We do have a slight twist in the final 10 races. In the past couple of years, we've gone on to Loudon, New Hampshire for race number 1. Next week, we're heading into Chicago. What to expect there?
It's a fast track. It's not a short track like Loudon, like we're accustomed to. This is a 1.5 mile track, over 200 miles per hour. It's a track that's going to require big horsepower, so it's different than this place, completely different.
Anxious to get there and see who fires the first shot across the bow. I think it's going to be a great chase. I can't wait to get to Chicago.
Well, it was certainly an interesting night, and the guys at NASCAR now have a lot to talk about over on ESPN2. They are up at midnight tonight to wrap up all the day's action, and then, of course, we are back next weekend. It's a doubleheader weekend in Chicago. It's the NASCAR Nationwide Series. They are up first Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2, and then the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Chicago. It's the Geico 400 Sunday, 1 Eastern on ESPN. It is the first race of the chase. Kevin Harvick is your winner in this final race to the chase, and the way they will line up in the points next weekend when they kick off, Kyle Busch will be the points leader. Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, and of course the wild cards. That was the big question tonight. Congratulations goes out to Brad Keselowski and Denny Hamlin, but of course Kevin Harvick is your winner in Richmond.
In Richmond, the green flag is out. About a half a dozen cars going to pile up. I think if we came up with a theme for this night, it's that all those guys with that shot at getting into the championship, they're all in trouble in the early going. Inside. Johnson in trouble. Caution number 10. They call it the action track.
I got your number.
Kevin Harvick's going to get the run up off the turn and get to the checkered flag first.